high fidelity.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter podcast, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Ringside Robert, and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and as always, you can catch us on the web at ringsidereporter.com. If you want to call tonight, ask some questions, we'll be here till about 8:30, probably 8:30 tonight, maybe 9. Maybe we'll stretch it a little bit. We'll see. 323-870-3857 is the number. Today, we're going to talk about Miguel Cotto. He calls out the winner of Triple G versus Canelo. Actually, let me correct that. It was actually Freddie Roach who called them out. I don't know how Miguel Cotto feels about that, but Freddie Roach actually called him out. Crybaby, Paulie Malignaggi lands himself in our train wreck of the week. But first, we get started with Showtime pay-per-view. The fight, Beeb, it's the fight. Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. Wow. That's all I could say is wow. Let me tell you what, man, for the first 3 rounds of this fight, I had absolutely no clue what I was watching. McGregor took it to Mayweather, and quite frankly, I thought he outboxed him. I couldn't believe what I was watching, man. I mean, Mayweather had no movement, no Philly shell, nothing. He wasn't blocking, he was blocking shots and trying to be evasive. McGregor was tagging him. Quite honestly, he was winning. And after the first round, I thought, wow, I didn't expect him to win a round, but he won the first round. Then after the second round, I'm like, what's going on here? What in the world is going on here? I had it 3-0 for McGregor going into the fourth round. I gave the fourth round to Floyd. And I think I made it give the fifth to maybe I gave the fifth to Mayweather or McGregor. I'm not 100% sure. I can look it up here. The fight was very close. I thought the fight was close. But you could tell that right around Floyd Mayweather obviously took over later in the fight. Conor looked exhausted by about the 5th round. He showed a ton of heart, man, but Mayweather took over and ultimately took him out in the 10th round. I thought it was just a question to me. It wasn't even a question of skill. It really, I don't think it was. I think he just gassed, and I think that was the end of it. You got to wonder if he had a full gas tank or this is what he'd been training in. If he goes, if it goes that way, I don't know. But the one takeaway that I took away from this is that I want to see McGregor fight again. Whether it's in the octagon or whether it's in the ring, he's a fun guy to watch. And the other takeaway, of course, is I don't want to see Floyd in there again because he's not Floyd. What we saw in there was not Mayweather, that's for sure. He was a shell of himself. And I mean, it's, again, he was lucky he was boxing a guy like McGregor and not a guy like Errol Spence. Could you imagine Errol Spence in there last night? My God, that would have been nuts.
Errol Spence would have tore him apart.
It would have been, yeah. It wouldn't even have been close. That fight wouldn't have went the distance, I'll tell you that. Yeah, Mayweather looked awful. He had no legs. And everybody, I'm seeing a lot of comments and everything like that. Anybody in here who says that, that Mayweather did a great job last night, you're just to me, you're kind of lying to yourself or you're just being kind of a fanboy for Mayweather because there's no way. I mean, you watch this, he was just a shell of himself. And you can't tell me with a straight face or any kind of honesty that you thought for 1 second he was competitive. He would be competitive against any of the top 5 welterweights out there. No way. You couldn't have pictured Sean Porter in there last night. Sean Porter would have killed that guy. No way. No way. He doesn't. He's done. He's done. And last night, of course, he said as much. But yeah, it was actually kind of sad to watch. I mean, it really was. I mean, he got the knockout in it, but he got a knockout against a guy, let's put into perspective, who's never had a professional boxing match. Never had one, not one. I mean, he's been in the octagon a bunch of times. That's great. And he's an all-around tough guy. There's no question. He had some skill last night. His boxing ability did surprise me. And it wasn't just him doing better than we thought. Wasn't just that. He had some skill behind it. I thought he did very well. I thought he would clean, when you watch that sparring session with Malignaggi, you're thinking, maybe, I don't know. You kind of go back and forth on it. It is Malignaggi after all. But he was good. He impressed me. I mean, he really did. He impressed me. And I mean, I think he could beat a lot of good boxers out there. Now, could he beat Keith Thurman? Could he beat Errol Spence? Could he beat Charlo? No, he's not beating any one of those guys. That being said, though, I was impressed. I thought he did really well. I thought he made a very good account of himself. I thought McGregor made a very good account of himself. I thought he actually carried the night, to be honest with you. I think he won the event. I think Floyd Mayweather won the fight. Beeb, was this money well spent, and what'd you think of the fight?
This was definitely money well spent, because whenever you have such low expectations for an event, okay, and it exceeds those expectations, obviously you got your money's worth, in my opinion. A lot of people are saying Floyd carried him, but I have to point out one part of the fight that really kind of opened my eyes, dispelled that theory, because obviously we know Floyd started slow for a reason. He wanted Conor McGregor to empty out his clip, blow his load, and then he was going to pour it on in the mid rounds to late rounds. We knew that was the strategy. But with that being said, Conor McGregor, definitely took advantage of that strategy, and he capitalized on that strategy. But going back to that one point, I saw Floyd throw a right hand, and then I saw Conor McGregor slip it and then counter him with an uppercut. When do you see that? Now, was that choreographed? Was that part of the plan? Was that part of the whole script? If you're saying Floyd carried him, you think Floyd, no fighter intentionally gets hit. You know what I'm saying?
They don't intentionally lose rounds either.
Yeah, they don't really intend. We saw Floyd, have a similar strategy against Judah. Okay, and again, all you fucking idiots out there, no, I am not saying Conor McGregor is that Judah. Stop, you Twitter retards. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is, Floyd went in there with the strategy, and he implemented the strategy. Now, could he have fought differently, and maybe the fight would have been different? But it's the same thing with the New England Patriots. They have a good passing game, but they decide to run the ball because they want to try something, because they see something that the opposing team has. So we're going to try a different strategy than normal, and so the running game doesn't work. And then they go back to the passing game. Now, did they carry the other team? No, they had a strategy, didn't work, and then you switch it up. Floyd's been known to switch things up. In certain instances in fights, you say, oh, wow, Floyd doesn't look so good. But then on the turn of a dime, he changes up the strategy. That's fine. But, we had to see what Conor McGregor had. And I'm sure Conor McGregor had more than he thought. Now, of course, Conor McGregor is not an excellent technical boxer. We know that, okay? Now, here's a couple things that did impress me about him. He was actually slipping shots very well last night, okay? He moved very well on his feet, and he had his balance, okay? And there was instances where he would actually run around to the side of Floyd and actually pass Floyd, and you saw Floyd kind of have to turn around to try to face him back up again. There was a lot of this movement was very unorthodox, and in the beginning, I think it did trouble Floyd a little bit. Does he sit down on his punches? No. Okay, but neither does Paulie Malignaggi. Paulie Malignaggi is criticizing this guy's power. And again, I am not here to denigrate any boxer, because I could not do 1/10 of what any pro boxer is able to do out there. And again, I am not denigrating Paulie Malignaggi. But Paulie Malignaggi is another guy who doesn't sit down on his shots either. He pushes his punches too sometimes. He's got a great pair of legs. He's got a great jab. But, he pushes the right hand sometimes too. He doesn't sit down on shots. He stands straight up. He keeps his chin up in the air too. You know what I'm saying? So he's sitting there criticizing Conor McGregor for not being a big puncher. But this is a guy who has 7 knockouts himself in 44 fights. And, he was being kind of chastised by the other broadcast members, because I'm not going to say he was biased against Conor McGregor, but he was trying to find things wrong. You know what I'm saying? So the way he broke down the fight afterwards when he was being interviewed and stuff like that. And he was sitting there saying, "Oh, Conor McGregor, I told you about this guy." Really? You really told us about this guy? The guy won, in my opinion, at the very least 4 rounds, 3 to 4 rounds. I gave him the first 3 rounds. Arguably, you could have given him the 4th if you wanted to. It was close enough where you could have said, yeah, maybe he got the 4th too. I thought he actually got the 8th. You know, so you can say what you want. Definitely, Floyd did lose a step because, again, you know, he was short with a couple right hands last night. And the thing was when McGregor started getting tired, he became, you know, very, very stationary and less mobile. So it was easier to Floyd to gauge the distance and cut down the spacing a little bit and land their right hands because of Conor's fatigue. It is what it is, but Conor McGregor definitely overexceeded my expectations of him. Yeah, he's not a big puncher, but again, you know, he was landing shots. You know, he did well. I thought he landed a good body shot in the 8th round, and I think it hurt Floyd somewhat. I didn't think it was low. It looked like it was on the belt line. And, you know, I think Paulie said it was low, but the other people of the broadcast team said it wasn't. And that was a round that I gave to Conor because I thought that he did stun Floyd a little bit with that body shot. But with all being said, though, you know, Floyd is not the same, and that's what made this fight interesting. Okay, Conor McGregor definitely is not a boxer, but, you know, I just wanted to see, you know, what he could do in there. I knew Floyd would win. I was very confident Floyd would win. I did bet Floyd to win by stoppage. That was the safe play. I didn't take the under. Probably the under was the best payoff, but I was a little nervous about, you know, what Floyd was going to do. I didn't know how long he was going to let this fight go. I didn't know how slow he was going to start because he does tend to, you know, start slow. But let's look at this too, because people said, "Oh, this was you know, something Floyd normally doesn't do." As I said, he did it in the Judah fight. But you have to look at one thing. Floyd waited for the perfect opportunity to really turn up the gas once he started to see Conor McGregor slow down. Because people can sit there and say, "Oh, why didn't he could have just jumped on him right from the beginning and take him out of there." When has Floyd ever jumped on anyone right from the beginning? That's just not who he is. He starts to you have to show him and, you know, give him the sign and give him you know, an indication that he can jump on you and take advantage of you and do what he did. Now with Judah, he started closing the gap down and he started coming forward and he started seeing how Judah was a little bit uneasy about that. The mental pressure of him coming forward and just, you know, keep coming, took the space away from Judah, and that made Judah feel uncomfortable. And, you know, as a result, Judah stopped really throwing punches because he wasn't in his comfort zone. He did something similar to Conor McGregor. He changed his hand positioning up, and he just came forward. It was almost like a modified peekaboo type stance, and he gave Conor a different look, and then it really kind of started to befuddle Conor. So we got to give Conor McGregor credit, and we also, and I know you know Floyd's not what he was, but I still like how he's able to change things up and give you different looks in there and give his opponent different looks in there. A lot of guys can't do that, and that's one thing I will give Floyd credit, you know, give credit to, is he's able to do that. Now, would he have beaten Errol Spence last night? No. Would he have beaten Sean Porter last night? I don't think so. Would he have beaten Keith Thurman? I don't think so. Would he have beaten Danny Garcia? Maybe because of Danny Garcia's slow feet, but even that could have been a stretch as well. So this is a good time to step away. I can't really fault the guy for fighting Conor McGregor. I mean, the demand was so great. There was a lot of hype behind the fight. There was a lot of people talking about this fight. This fight was being talked about everywhere. You know, telemarketers, as you said, they were talking to you about it. I was going to supermarkets. People, hey, you gonna watch that fight tonight? I was in gyms. Hey, you gonna watch that fight? These are people who never watched the sport of boxing again. So this was an entertaining fight last night. I think this was a win-win for everybody. And of course, you're gonna have the naysayers, the top rank HBO crowd who's gonna try to, you know, down anything that's not that. Okay, they're gonna try and down anything that's not that. So it is what it is. The sport's tribal. It's always gonna be tribal. But I got my money's worth and I'm happy. Really am.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny, and I was telling Beeb the story yesterday. I had a telemarketer call me yesterday and asked me, you know, he was trying to sell me something and asked me, you know, what do you think of the fight tonight? You know, and it just kind of hit me like nobody ever does that. You know what I mean?
No.
Everybody was talking about this fight. Everywhere I went today, we had soccer games all day today, and I would walk by a crowd and they're talking about the fight last night. I heard him mention Andrew Tebi, you know, and stuff like that. And it was like nobody ever, you know, you never walk, you know, nobody's ever talking about Andrew Tebi. You know what I mean?
And it wasn't a bad card. It wasn't a bad card at all.
So no, not
it really wasn't. The fights were pretty good. I didn't think there was any bad fights on the card.
I enjoyed them. Yeah, and I don't understand everybody, you know, just dumping on this event, man. Because it was an event. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't classic boxing. You know, if you tuned in for, you know, some Lomachenko type stuff, you're not going to see it. You know, but it was fun. It was a fun event, and it involved Mayweather and McGregor, and it was a fun two people from different worlds, and it was just a fun event, man. I don't understand like why people completely dump on it. And then you have the other group that say, well, Conor was garbage because he couldn't even, you know, he didn't make it out of the fight, you know. Okay, well, that doesn't mean he didn't make a good account of himself. And if you say, yeah, Conor had a good account of himself, well, now you're putting Floyd down. It's like, give me a break.
Well, there were people on Twitter that went as far as saying Conor quit. Where did anyone see Conor utter the words, I don't want anymore, I quit, I'm going to stop? Now, granted, you know, Paulie Malignaggi's sitting there saying, oh, well, you know, if you want to continue, you got to throw punches back.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not here to say anything bad about Paulie Malignaggi, but Paulie, in your last fight against Sam Eggington, when they stopped the fight, were you throwing punches back? I mean, I'm sure Conor wanted to throw punches back, but he was hurt.
Right.
You can tell when a guy is hurt, legitimately hurt, and he's separated from his senses and he can't throw punches back. And you can also tell when he's just, you know, somewhat stunned, but still there to some degree, and he's just shelling up, and then he turns away and goes, no. We've seen guys do that before. We've seen guys take a knee and then look up at the referee and nod, no, I don't want anymore. There was no indication that that's what happened last night. Not even close. So how could he have quit last night? And then other people, well, the real fight was on HBO.
The real fight, that HBO fight sucked. I would say
again,
it sucked. It was a one-sided pounding.
You know, and then people are going to sit there and say, well, Kamegai was brave. He's got a chin. He's got this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But that was the, you know,
clearly
Cotto was the biggest punch he's ever faced. And again, I love Cotto. But he was fighting with his mouth open. He was gassed. I got to ask anyone out there, if the Cotto that knocked out Sergio Martinez, right? If he was in there with Kamegai last night, would Kamegai have finished that fight? I'm going to say no. The thing is this. I will give Kamegai all the credit in the world for hanging in there and keep coming forward. And again with the mental pressure, keep coming forward and pushing Cotto and making him fight a fast-paced fight. But Cotto was tired last night. His mouth was open. He was talking about retirement before this fight, talking about it after this fight. There's a reason. He's getting signals from his body that, you know what, he can't push himself like he used to. And you saw it last night where he landed some great shots, but he could not close the show because he just didn't have it in him. He was gassing, okay? He would throw a couple hard shots, and he could not step on the gas and finish Kamegai because he's not the Cotto of old either. But with that being said, Kamegai did not win one round.
It was a completely one-sided fight.
It was a one-sided. How is that a real fight?
How is that better than the other?
How is that better than someone else winning four rounds and losing on my scorecard by a point before being stopped?
Yeah.
How is that even comparable? Real fight. You know what a real fight is? A real fight is anyone that has the fucking guts to get in that ring and put gloves on. That's a real fight. There is no such thing as fake fight. It's not Nintendo. It's not Sega Genesis. These are two men in there putting their lives on the line and fighting. So you want to say real fight, fake fight? You know, we've seen this many times, okay? Where you have the best fighting the best. And again, like I told you yesterday, I hope I'm wrong. I'm not rooting for this to happen. But so many times we hear this. Oh, Triple G, Canelo, that's going to be a war. De La Hoya, Mayweather, that's going to be a good fight. De La Hoya is going to make him fight. Pacquiao, Mayweather, that's going to be a great. When a lot of times when you put two guys in there that are highly skilled fighters that are on a similar level, and they're both dangerous. Same thing, De La Hoya, Trinidad. What happened there? Was that a barn burner? You know what I'm saying? So De La Hoya is again, Hall of Famer. I can't take anything away from the guy, but he is the biggest hypocrite in the sport of boxing. You fought Felix Trinidad in the biggest non-pay-per-view fight, non-heavyweight, I should say, non-heavyweight fight in pay-per-view history at the time. Okay, all eyes were watching you, and you did very well. You were boxing and moving, but even then, you didn't sit in the trenches with him and slug it out with him. You were sticking and moving them, and then at the end, you decided to just admittedly run the last 3 rounds. And you're going to sit there and criticize someone else for being a defensive fighter, being a boy. Many times in your career, you've done the same thing. You fought Floyd Mayweather in what was supposed to be the biggest fight of the century, right? And the last 6 rounds, you had your hands in your pocket. Now, granted, Floyd Mayweather had something to do with that, but you stopped throwing the jab. You know what I'm saying? You just stopped throwing the jab, and then you asked why, and you couldn't answer it. So, so many times these fights are billed as being the great super fights, and they don't always pan out. This fight was billed as a circus, a dud, a joke, and it just wasn't that. So if Canelo and Triple G turn out to be like Triple G and Danny Jacobs was, a tactical fight, what's De La Hoya going to say then? This is going to be an action-packed war. And then what happens if it's not? Because the bar is being set extremely high for this fight.
Yep.
Okay? It has nowhere to go but down. This fight had nowhere to go but up. So what's going to happen, guys, when this fight turns out to be a tactical fight? A nip-and-tuck fight? What's he going to say then? And what are you guys going to say then? That's all I want to know.
That's the thing, man. I mean, they build this as a circus. I thought it was a good fight. I didn't feel ripped off after the fight, put it that way. I didn't feel ripped off at all. Everybody I talked to said they got their money's worth out of it. This is a $100 pay-per-view. Everybody I talked to said their money's worth out of it. They got their money's worth. They loved it, and it was a good, entertaining fight. What more do you need? Why? But then, you're not a real boxing fan if you're not watching the Cotto Kamegai. You have to boycott the McGregor fight, Mayweather fight, and watch the Cotto Kamegai. Give me a break, guys. Grow up. Grow up.
Do you want to hear something else? You have these other people who are these CompuBox warriors who love to say CompuBox. So then there's again, I'm not a CompuBox guy. I'm really not, and you know this. So then then people are pointing out that Conor McGregor landed more punches than Manny Pacquiao did, right? So these same people who are CompuBox warriors, you know what they come out and say? Oh, well, doesn't matter. Look at the quality of the shots. Haven't I been telling you friggin' idiots this for years? That CompuBox is not always a good indication of how the fight's going and the types of shots that are landed. So when it suits you, you accept my theory. But other than that, when it doesn't suit you, then you want to say, oh, well, look at the amount. So the amount, that whole statistic was nothing last night because it didn't suit your narrative. Okay? And then you basically said the same thing I said because I'm always going to say CompuBox means nothing to me. I don't care about it. But all of a sudden, CompuBox was a joke last night, right. But all these other times it wasn't. So, just be consistent, guys. Yeah, right. Exactly. Just be consistent, guys.
Yep.
Be fucking consistent, guys. That's all I'm asking.
That's it. When you need CompuBox, then it favors your argument, then you refer to it. You know what I mean? That's how it goes.
And even if the guy isn't a big puncher, he was still landing shots. So when you're watching a fight and another guy's not landing shots, but the other guy is, do you sit there and say, oh, I'm not going to count that because it wasn't hard enough? That's not how you score a fight, guys.
And let's talk about this for a second, man, because let's go back to that I believe it was the 8th round. I gave McGregor 4 of the first 5 rounds. I think I gave Mayweather 4, McGregor 5, and then I gave the rest of the rounds to Floyd, including the knockdown round where Floyd Mayweather almost went down with that body shot. Because I thought Floyd finished strong, and I thought, again, man, that could have went either way. So, yeah, I had it 86-85, I think, at the time of the stoppage.
That's what I had.
And I had Mayweather ahead in that.
I had him ahead by 1 point.
Yeah, I did too. And so did Farhood. So did Steve Farhood. So, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the judges' scorecards here in a little bit, but let's talk about, like I said, that 8th round when he got clipped with that body shot. I thought that was a left hook. I thought it was to the liver, and I thought it hurt him. And he went to the ropes, and he dropped. And I thought, and if the referee, he started hitting him, then the referee inexplainably separates them, doesn't call a low blow, does not call a low blow, just separates them. Mayweather complained about a low shot earlier in the fight. That clearly was not a low shot. He said he hit him low. I said that was not a low shot. That was in the body. He was getting hurt to the body last night. McGregor, I thought, was doing pretty good work to the body. But in that 8th round, like I said, when he got to him and the referee separated him for really, like I said, no apparent reason. I mean, there was a good 3 to 5 seconds of action before he got separated.
Yeah.
And then Mayweather just turned his back on him, and then Conor, of course, took his back for whatever reason. But Beeb, do you think? I mean, I don't. I'm not going to go so far as to say that changes the fight, because I don't know that it does. But he looked like he was in pretty good trouble. What were your thoughts on that 8th round? He
looked hurt. He may not have been seriously hurt to the point where he couldn't come back from it. It didn't look like he actually went down. Did he actually take a knee, Eric? Because I don't remember.
No. He was just down, and McGregor, I think.
Was he sitting on the ropes?
It was something like that. It was.
Okay, all right. Because I couldn't tell. 100%. I'm going to have to go back and watch.
And I'm not sure if they separate him. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure if they separate him because Mayweather took his back or not. Because he was doing that the entire fight. He would turn around, and I don't know. And
I mean, he definitely looked stunned. He looked like he was stunned a little bit. I don't know how. I couldn't really tell to the extent of how hurt he was, but McGregor definitely got his attention with that shot, in my opinion.
Right. And Earthquake in the chat said, I'm hating on Floyd Mayweather for no reason. Not hating on him, man. I'm telling you the truth, man. If you looked at that fight last night and you could tell me that guy could beat any top welterweight or any top 154 guy, you're lying. You're lying to yourself. You're not seeing it. You're not seeing I mean, seriously, you can't see that he's not the same fighter.
If he knew he was still on top of his game and he knew he was the same fighter, would he be retiring? He
wouldn't have fought McGregor then.
would he be retiring? Honestly, you got to ask yourself that, guys. Come on. Yeah. He knows. He told you.
Yeah. I mean,
he told you out of his own mouth that he wasn't that he's not the same fighter, that he needs to retire. He told you that.
And I don't want to see him fight again because I don't want to see him get hurt. I mean,
I don't want to see him get hurt either. But I would love to see him fight Pacquiao again. I really would.
No.
And my whole thing is this. The reason why, this is what I've always said. Even when you take two fighters, even though they're past their prime, but they're at the same level. Sometimes, like look at Gotti and Ward. Not great fighters. Very good fighters in their own right. Did do some things well, but you would not look at them and say these guys are elite fighters.
Right.
We're similar, somewhat similar in skill set, and somewhat similar in the same point in their career. And what did you have? You had 3 great fights. So, as I told you yesterday, Floyd has slowed down just enough. Manny Pacquiao has slowed down just enough, where they would be able to touch each other and hit each other. And I'm sure they're going to try to outdo what they did in the first fight. I am not against a rematch. I'm not. As crazy and ridiculous as that may sound, at this point in both of their careers, I am not against a rematch. And if Manny Pacquiao beats Jeff Horn, say he knocks him out, gets the WBO title, Floyd fights him, that would be a good farewell fight, in my opinion. Does he need it? Absolutely not. Does he have to do it? Absolutely not. But does it intrigue me right now? It does a little bit, I'll be honest.
Yeah, Joe Lopez in the chat just said he wants to see Floyd fight Terrence Crawford. And man,
I don't want to see that. Not now. Not right now.
I don't ever want to see it, man.
Not right now, no.
Not a good fight for Floyd. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Russell Scott here. Before we do that, what did you think of the stoppage? McGregor said it was an early stoppage. My dad even said that he would like to see him go on a little bit more. The ref, I mean, technically, the ref could have gave him a standing 8 count because the ropes were keeping him up at that point. But honestly, I think McGregor was done at that point. I don't think there was any reason for him to take extra punishment. I don't need to see him knocked out to know that he lost the fight. You know? So that was my thoughts on it. What were your thoughts? Either early stoppage or no? Beeb.
Oh, you're talking to me? I thought you were talking to Russell Scott. I apologize.
No, I'm going to bring him on in a second, though.
Oh. No, I didn't think it was an early stoppage. I apologize, Eric. I thought you were talking to Russell.
No, you're fine.
No, I did not think that was an early stoppage. He was hurt. He was very hurt. And I'll tell you something else. This is another thing that I noticed, too. When Robert Byrd was pulling Floyd away, Floyd was like this. And he came down like put all his force down, got all his leverage on this overhand right. And it looked like a killer punch. And if Robert Byrd didn't pull him away, if that last punch landed,
yeah, that could have
been dangerous. That could have been serious. I have to be honest. So absolutely not. This was a spot on stoppage, in my opinion. I don't like to see guys. I don't like to see guys, stretched out on the canvas, unconscious with one leg shaking. I don't need to see that.
Right.
I don't.
Exactly. 604. I believe this is Russell. Russell, is this you?
This is me. Thank
All
you so
right.
much, Eric.
Hello, Russell.
Oh, hey, Robbie. How are you?
I'm all right.
Robbie's a little tight. He got jet lag. He was actually at the fight last night. He was actually at the Mayweather-McGregor fight in person. So he's got a little jet lag today.
He's in the locker room with a TMT shirt on. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was a bit of an early stoppage.
Only in your dreams, Joe. Anyway, go ahead, Russell. Sorry.
No, I thought it was a bit of an early stoppage. Just to your point there, Eric, he could have given him the standing 8 count.
Sure. I mean, yeah, he would have been fine. Yeah.
Then gone from there. People spent a lot of friggin' money to go there, and everybody around the world is watching.
Yeah.
Just for entertainment purposes alone. Just give him the standing 8 count and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, man, my dad was watching the fight. He said, yeah, and he texted me today. He was like, yeah, I would have liked to seen him either get finished or go see if he could go anymore. And that's when I said, yeah, he probably could have got the standing 8 count. I was okay with it. I'm always okay with that. I always err on the side of caution. But, yeah, I can see both points of it for sure.
I was nervous. Like Beeb, I bet the TKO. And you remember that scene in Rocky when Juergens looks up with that look of concern as Rocky's doing a lot better against Apollo?
Yeah.
Remember Juergens? He was the promoter for Apollo.
Yeah, he was the ring guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was me last night looking up at that fight on the monitor. Oh my God.
I was shitting the brick. I was shitting the brick.
Could you believe what you were watching? I mean, Russell, when you saw those first 4 rounds, because you had it 4-0. You had it 4-0. I had it 3-1 at that point, but you had it 4-0.
I was caught up in the moment. I had money on it. Maybe that influenced me to think that way. I haven't seen the fight. I haven't seen the replay. But I thought McGregor was beating him. He was so big. I couldn't believe how much bigger he was than Mayweather.
I was shocked. Yeah, I was shocked at what the size difference was. And I think that gave Floyd trouble too.
Yeah. I mean, I never seen Floyd fight like that ever. I don't know who that was. Staying in the pocket, flat-footed. What's going on? What happened? Has he lost it seriously, or or did he carry this guy?
No, I think he got old. Because the carry, and I heard a lot of arguments like, well, Floyd carried him so you can make the money on the pay-per-view. He didn't want to feel cheated. Listen, man, you don't lose rounds when you're carrying somebody. That's not the way it goes. You don't purposely lose rounds. Nobody purposely loses.
Yeah, but when has Floyd ever thrown a lead right and someone slipped it and countered him with an uppercut? You can't choreograph that. You can't.
In the 8th or 9th round, Reese Mack in the chat is saying it was the 9th round. I thought it was the 8th, but when he hit him with that body shot, I thought Floyd was going to go. I didn't know I didn't think he was going to get knocked out, but he looked really, really hurt. He looked seriously hurt. And there was a couple of times in there where he got hit with that uppercut, snapped his head back, that he looked like, whoa, man. I mean, this kid's in here to fight. He doesn't, this isn't an exhibition, man. They're here to fight.
Yeah. You know, the fight in some weird way reminded me of Lennox Lewis versus Vitaly Klitschko.
Yeah.
Unprepared, over the hill, but it made for that entertaining fight. Like Beeb is saying, that point where your skills just diminish enough that it becomes competitive.
That's a
and
great, yeah, that's a great parallel.
All the stars aligned last night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great parallel. You're right. I mean, you know, the thing about it, that is a lot like the Klitschko Lewis fight, because Lewis is clearly on his way out, you know, and you got this guy, and yeah, that's a great parallel.
Well, he was training for Kirk Johnson, right?
That's right. He sure was.
So he wasn't actually preparing for Vitaly Klitschko. But point being, he wasn't prepared, and neither was Mayweather. And even Mayweather Sr. was saying as such in interviews, he's prepared enough. That looked about right.
Yeah.
But,
and
you know, ultimately, like I think we all had talked last week, it came down to stamina.
That's the only thing you can really control in a fight, man. You've heard it said over and over. That really is the only thing you can control in a fight is your stamina. At the end of the day, I mean, you know, you're in there, two top professional fighters, not necessarily in this fight, boxers anyway, but when you got like Canelo and Triple G next week, two top caliber, not next week, but in September, you know, two top-notch boxers, they employ the same skill sets. You know, I mean, they really do. You're not, you know, at the time of, you know, one being better than the other, it's just kind of nitpicky. The only thing they can really control is their stamina. And if one outlasts the other, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think boxing redeemed itself, though, last night. I watched it with my girlfriend. She's never watched a fight before in her life. She thoroughly enjoyed it. UFC won last night. Boxing won. Everybody was talking about it. You know, it was actually an incredible night for boxing. And in some way, Mayweather redeems himself, not going out against Berto, going out in some entertaining fashion, regardless if it was intentional or not.
Right. That's a good point too. Because I mean, and everybody, when the fight was announced, the McGregor-Mayweather fight was announced, while there was a lot of people excited about it, I was just like, are you serious? This fight is serious. I mean, you were kind of excited because it's two different worlds coming together, but at the same time, it's like, dude, he's going to break 50 on this. And it's like, you know, but as the hype train started rolling, as you see press conferences, and it really got to be a lot of fun. And I'm, you know, as one of the naysayers of this promotion when it first announced, I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the build up to it, the fight itself. I'm just glad we didn't see another Mayweather-Pacquiao or Trinidad De La Hoya, where you were promised this giant, you know, fight with fireworks and everything, and De La Hoya just gets on his bicycle for 12 rounds, you know, or Mayweather does the same.
Do you guys consider this a legitimate win for Mayweather? Do you put this on the 50-0?
No.
Does this count?
No, I don't think so.
I count it because it's sanctioned, but I still see it for what it is, you know.
Yeah, I don't think you can, you know, I think if he's got it, you know, he's got to have it.
I mean, it was for the money belt. That's a prestigious title. Come on.
Absolutely. You can buy it on eBay pretty soon here too. So
that belt was beautiful.
Is
it
Robbie
was
here?
beautiful. Yes, Robert.
Yeah, I'm here, Russell.
He's got jet lag.
Jet lag.
No, I did not. I'm going to watch the replay on Showtime. I did not pay for this.
He was front row.
Are you kicking yourself today hearing all these great reviews?
I know Beeb has known me a little bit longer than Eric has. I'm a man that sticks to my word, and when I make a decision, I stick to it.
I know for a fact you didn't buy the fight. I know for a fact
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I'm looking forward to seeing the replay next week, but I don't regret not paying for it. No.
Can I ask you a question, Robbie?
Watching Cotto?
Yeah, I watched
that dynamite
Cotto.
fight. Yeah, that dynamite fight.
That was a barn burner, huh?
No. Well, I even said last week, Beeb, that it was not going to be, and when we talk about it, I'll let everybody know.
Terrible fight,
you know.
son.
But then all the other people who were trashing this fight, all they could say about Kamegai, oh, what a chin. What's that mean? It means he got hit a lot.
Right. Yeah, you're watching one
that
guy
mean?
get uppercutted all night.
Watching one guy get hit a lot. Okay.
Beeb, for those that say that, they don't know what they were watching. Okay.
What do you guys think about the ref? You know, in the pre-fight amble, when he was talking to the Yeah, Bird, Robert Bird. Yeah, he was talking to the two fighters, and he's not even looking at Mayweather. He's just staring at Conor. Now, I know he knows that Mayweather's been there many times before, but there seemed to be an impartiality there. Now, he didn't – I thought he should have taken a point or given more warnings for the rabbit punching. But I don't know. How do you feel about the reffing?
I thought he did – overall, I thought he did pretty good. I thought
it was a tough
because
fight.
he could have took a point away from Conor in about the third round for rabbit, for the punching behind the head or the hammer fist. Conor was trying to hit him with the hammer fist and stuff like that. He was hitting him with hammer fists. And he could have taken a point away, and to his credit, he didn't. And he let it play out. What I didn't like is that Mayweather turned a couple of times, and he wasn't really. I mean, well, he did warn him a couple of times for it. Yeah, I think overall he did good. I think it's a tough thing, but I did notice that, and Conor alluded to it in the post fight, one of his post fight interviews, that when Bird was talking, he was talking directly to him. But I think while that may not have been the most professional thing to do, I think he wanted to make sure that he understood, because this is his first time in the ring, on a big event, on a big stage. So,
yeah.
Beeb, did you say that you had a question?
I was going to ask Robbie a question. Yeah, I want to ask Robbie a question.
Go ahead.
Real quick. So if you end up watching this fight on Showtime, and you DVR it, and you watch it a few times, because I know you will, and you actually like it, will you come out and say, well, this was a better fight than I thought it would be? Would you do that or no?
Beeb, I'm not a hater. Of course I will. You've known me, like I said, you've known me longer than Eric has, and when I give an opinion, it's an honest one, and when I make a decision, it's something I stick to. I will definitely come out and give my opinion once I watch it.
Okay. Because I'm just curious to see what you say.
Thanks so much for the call, guys. I want to hear the next guy.
All right, man. Thank
see
you,
you,
sir.
Russell. And thanks.
All right, Russell. Take care, man.
Okay, take care, guys.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I think you'll like the fight, Robert. I mean, I know you didn't watch. We give you a lot of static and everything like that for watching the fight and saying you were going to buy it. We know you didn't watch the fight. We know you weren't there in person. We know you don't have jet lag today.
Nope. That's right.
But yeah, I think you will like it. Once you see it, I think you'll enjoy the fight. Put it that way.
Yeah, I know. From what I've heard because I had people calling me during the fight last night, telling me how it was going. So, and from the way everybody was talking to me, it's like, okay, well, I'll look forward to next Saturday so I can watch it for free. Now I'll be able to see what everybody was talking about. But I'm glad that I wasn't one of the people that paid the $100, because like I said last week, I did that 2 years ago, and I made up my mind once they set the price, I was not going to do it a second time.
Yeah, that's understandable. A lot of people felt like that. I think a lot of people probably felt like that, and I think he's well within his rights to feel like that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. All
right, let's go over this undercard here, man. Let me tell you what, Gervonta Davis. You think this is the next Adrian Bronner, Beeb?
It's so funny because I was those thoughts were coming up in my mind when I started hearing about it, and just even some of the antics I saw in the ring, and it was like deja vu. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong. Again, I hope I'm wrong. It's tough when you put kids like this who had nothing, and all of a sudden they have something, and so I can imagine how overwhelming it must be. But I hope I'm wrong, and he looked a little flat last night. Fonseca seemed to be doing pretty well in there at points of the fight. Not a huge puncher, but he was moving well. He was creating good punching angles for himself, and he was moving his head. He was getting low, and I thought Gervonta Davis was pushed more than he expected he was going to be, and more than I expected he was going to be. But at the end, it didn't look like. Again, it didn't look like that last punch, which was behind the head. He landed like with this part of the glove, and he didn't seem to land it very flush and hard enough where it would cause that type of reaction. And I don't even think that punch made him go down. I think initially he was being pushed down, and that kind of just forced him down. But I think the push was the determining factor beforehand that actually gave him the momentum to go down. So with that being said, I agree with Paulie Malignaggi. It kind of looked like he was trying to sell that as an illegal blow so he can get, a victory by DQ. I can't say that factually, but I suspect that was the case. And it absolutely was an illegal blow. There's no question about it. You know what? Remember Terry Norris?
Yeah,
fought that guy, Luis Santana.
Yeah, Santana. Yeah.
And the guy stayed down there, and Terry Norris didn't land an illegal blow, but he basically just tapped him. And again, I wasn't in there. I don't know, but from my vantage point, it did not look hard enough to elicit that type of response or reaction from Fonseca. That's just my opinion. But there's no way around it. It was an illegal blow, without question.
And I have no idea why he was counted out on an illegal blow.
That's correct. I mean, you have a strong,
and the fight should have been stopped. That should have been a DQ, and that's that. And he doesn't win. He lost his title on the scale. Guy comes in 2 pounds heavy for his 130-pound bout.
Yeah, that tells you he didn't even try to make weight.
And I heard rumors all week that he's been spotted at nightclubs. He hadn't been training.
Then he said he was sick too before the fight.
Yeah, he has a cold. He had a cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm not going to dump on the guy, but it was very disappointing and it was very sad to see.
And he didn't look great in that fight either, bro.
And he didn't look great at all. He looked very flat.
Yeah, he did. He looked very flat. All right, let's go ahead. Back to the phones here. 773. 773. You're alive.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
What's happening?
Dale,
what's up?
Chicago.
Absolutely. So, what'd you think, man? You watched it. I know you watched it.
Weekend.
Yeah.
You know what? I did.
Knew it.
I was on the fence, but actually, the delay worked in my favor. I did have something going on, and I got home and I'm like, dude, I got freaking time.
Yep.
And now I didn't show the $100. Like I said, asterisk there. I was looking around. Turns out this bar by me is a little corner bar, small capacity, so they probably didn't get hosed too much. Freaking $10. I got to go see it.
Oh, that's nice.
And I walked in just before the first round. Yeah, $10.
That's awesome.
So I definitely got my money's worth.
Oh, I would say. Did you watch all the fights, or you just watched the main one?
So last night, yeah, exactly. So I had to play a little catch up today. So I only saw the prelims on Fox.
Yeah.
And then I had to go. And then so I missed all the undercard yesterday. I caught some of it today. Like the Tank Davis, and because I wanted to see that. And yeah, dude, I know who one of your top candidates for next week's train work is. So yeah, man, and I like him too. And that was disappointing. And then the weigh-in and everything too. And
yeah.
So I kind of knew it was already sort of tainted, but I figured, all right, whatever, it'll be good. It'll be good. And yeah, so, but hey, I got to tell you, with the main event, I know real quick too, that Lomachenko fight on Friday was pretty damn good, or at least exciting.
Yeah, the Terry Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. That was nice. But yeah, main event. That's what you guys want to talk about. So I almost don't need to call. You guys are basically reading I couldn't agree more on all counts. Basically, pleasantly surprised. You got to give Conor some credit. His shots weren't great. He landed clean shots, but a lot of them seemed like arm punches and stuff. But whatever, he's getting to him. Like Beeb said, dude. Like he flipped a right and landed a counter left, like on Floyd. That's insane. I kind of couldn't believe my eye. Like you guys, I'm like, what the hell am I watching here? Because I do, I score the fight on a little app. I score the fights, not super, whatever. But I had the same exact card too, 86-85 for Floyd. I gave Cotto the ace, all that. So yeah, I was just very surprised at Conor and how good he looked. And how well he did. But B, like you said too, I know part of it was strategy, but I think Floyd just that's it, man. Father Time is undefeated,
For sure, yeah. So, I did. I mean, would you like to see him fight again?
I wouldn't. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, because I don't think it's who are you going to call?
I'm afraid.
You know what
I'm
I mean?
afraid.
Yeah, he's to the point, man, where he could get hurt. You know what I mean? I mean, that's how
Yeah.
much of a show he looked like last night. I was actually, you know, because you think about it, you're like, yeah, but how much trouble could he really be in with Conor McGregor? You know what I mean? I mean, it's a safe fight for him. I mean, overall, it's probably a safe bet. You know what I mean, for him. But yeah, I mean, I couldn't have imagined him with, you know, 154, 147 with some of those killers. Man, he would have gotten murked. He would have been KO'd last night.
No, and then some of the names you guys were saying, yeah, totally. You guys saying Spence? Oh,
yeah. Oh God, can you imagine? Could you imagine? I couldn't imagine Kell Brook in there with him. Kell Brook would have murdered him last night.
Yep.
Yeah, he's done, man.
Yeah,
he's
absolutely
done. And like Russell Scott had drove that parallel with Lennox Lewis and Klitschko. I thought that's the perfect parallel because that's when Lennox Lewis bowed out and he never came back. And I hope Floyd does the same.
That was a good call, and yeah, that was when you mentioned that, I was like, wow, that's a very good analogy. So yeah, totally. But it was, hey man, it was fun, and I do think I'm kind of you know, when everyone's saying it's a win for both. It's a win for both, MMA and boxing, and really boxing too, like because Floyd did what he had to do. He beat him. That's what he's supposed to do. In the end, it happened, and people, like you said, everywhere were talking about it, you know.
Yeah.
And people at work and all this stuff, and they're asking questions and everything, and it's like, you know, I was like, I don't know. I mean, don't get too excited. Just have fun. It's going to be a fun event. Don't get, you know. And hell, you know what? Turned out to be a great fight, and like you said, way the hell better than the Kamegai Cotto. So, and
right.
Yeah, Cotto looked like Napoleon Dynamite the way he was mouth breathing. You guys aren't kidding. So. So anyway, but yeah, it was fun. It was a good weekend, and everything turned out. Yeah, I mean, hell, you can't. Definitely way more bang for your buck than Maypac. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think everybody, like I said, everybody I talked to got their money's worth.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying everybody I talked to got their money's worth. You know, nobody was complaining about the fight afterwards, put it that way.
Yep. Not at all. Not at all. And yeah, not at all. So, and thanks for doing that post fight show, Beeb and Eric. That's very cool of you guys. And I know you do it on your own time, and it's not an on-demand show or anything. So I definitely appreciate that. And you guys are the best. You guys are the best boxing podcast, hands down. So
we appreciate that, man.
Thanks,
we appreciate
doing
that. We appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the call in, man. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
As usual, man. Thank you so much. Good deal. Let's go to 1111. I think this might be Wood. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. You're live. 11111111. Go. Is this Wood? Maybe, maybe not.
Hello. Come on. Speak up.
Robert, you're so belligerent, Robert. All right, maybe he's just listening. Yeah, maybe he's just listening. It's all good. It's all good. Usually Wood calls in from that number. It's just 111111.
Yeah. Well, if I were to use my other phone, that's how it would show up too. So
there you go. There you go. All right, let's talk about Nathan Cleverly. We're still on the undercard here. Nathan Cleverly versus Badu Jack the Ripper, friend of the show. Hey, Beeb. Beeb.
Yes.
Eddie Hearn is a wank. All right. Badu Jack looked great in this fight, man. He really worked over Cleverly's body. Ended up stopping him in the 5th round to win the WBA regular title. Eddie Hearn looked like a complete wank, overmatching his guy again. Of course, he gets taken out of there. After the fight, Nathan Cleverly actually announced his retirement. So Badu Jack is now the WBA regular champion. He talked about facing Andre Ward and Adonis Stevenson. He talked about facing Adonis Stevenson first. That's a fight that can happen, right? They're both
absolutely.
Yep.
Both on the same side of the street. Yeah, both on the same side of the street. He looked good last night too. What did you think of Badu Jack last night?
Thing about Badu Jack is he's just such a fluid puncher now, and when he goes to the body, he's just so subtle about it. Like real short, crisp shots. Not a lot of wasted motion out of this guy. I think he's really learned how to pace himself because of that Derek Edwards fight where he kind of gassed out a little bit there and he got hurt and he couldn't recover. I think he's more relaxed. He's more confident. He sets up the shots very well. And the beautiful thing about him too is when you look at him, he's kind of meat and potatoes type guy. And it doesn't look like he's overly sophisticated in there. He's not a slick, crafty type guy. Well, I can't say he's not crafty, but he doesn't give you that impression that he's like a real cutesy type guy in there. But he's a pretty solid defensive fighter now. Like, he really knows how to pick off shots, and he doesn't waste a lot of energy. He's a very sound, fundamental fighter. Knows how to create those punching angles, knows how to always be in position, and he just keeps coming forward, and he puts that kind of subtle, silent pressure on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll fight in spurts, but when he's on the offense, he really pours it on, and he makes every shot count. And if you make a mistake against him, he's not going to let you off the hook. And once he does have you hurt, he finishes you. And he can fight very, very well in the pocket. Nathan Cleverly, they say he's a good inside fighter, but he doesn't defend well on the inside. He throws, he squares up. His shots are kind of clubbing. They're slower now. I don't think he's ever been the same since that Sergey Kovalev loss. And a lot of people were saying that this was going to be a 50-50 fight. I just didn't see it as such. I thought Jack was going to win pretty handily, and I thought he was going to stop Cleverly. I didn't think he was going to stop him as early as he did, but I thought he was going to wear him down. And my hat goes off to Badou Jack. I think he's going to be a player at light heavyweight. I think he could beat Adonis Stevenson. I think he's very skilled. He's he's a very heavy-handed guy, very physically strong guy, and I think he could force Adonis Stevenson into fighting a faster pace fight than he would be comfortable with, and I think that would, be the determining factor in that fight, and that's why I would pick him to beat Adonis Stevenson because of that, because he's younger, fresher, stronger, and he knows how to really turn it up when he wants to, and once he does turn it up, he puts that subtle pressure on you, and it's hard to, kind of derail him when he's in that mode. So that's why I think that fight's very interesting.
What did you think of Eddie Hearn throwing Cleverly to the wolves again?
Eddie does what his fighters want. Cleverly saw a chance to be on a huge pay-per-view card in front of millions of people. So he jumped at the chance. I can't fault him for that. Eddie is the best promoter in the business because you know why? Because he gives you those opportunities where you can showcase your skills in front of a large audience, which Nathan Cleverly was able to do.
Eddie Hearn is a wank and the worst promoter in boxing. The absolute worst, son. So, all right. So what do you think of Badou Jack's chances? Let's say he fights Stevenson. Let's say, because Stevenson's got the last belt, right? Stevenson's got the one that Andre Ward likes. And there's rumors of where Andre Ward's going. Maybe he goes up to cruiserweight. Who knows where he goes?
Yeah.
Let's just say it pans out. What do you think about Badou Jack versus Andre Ward if that fight were to somehow?
Yeah, I can't see him beating Andre Ward. I think Andre Ward's a little bit too gritty on the inside. He's not going to allow Badou Jack to work on the inside like Badou Jack has been able to do against a lot of other opponents. Because Andre Ward will constantly break up your rhythm on the inside. He'll rough you up. He'll bump you with that shoulder, get low. He'll grab one arm, he'll lean on you. He'll really fatigue you mentally and physically in there. And I'm not so sure that Badou Jack will be able to deal with that type of pressure and that type of rough and tumble fight on the inside, because he's been allowed to pretty much do what he wants. And I'm not gonna say he's been allowed to, but no one's really been able to contain him. Whereas Andre Ward, I think, can contain him on the inside and get his own stuff off too. So that's different. Adonis Stevenson, he likes to lay back, likes to pot shot. Fonfara had some success against Stevenson early in the first fight. Obviously, we saw what happened in the second fight. It was definitely no contest. But, Stevenson's getting up there, man, and he hasn't been fighting the creme de la creme. So his intensity could be down a little bit. He could be in that mode where he's just been cruising along and, used to fighting guys at a certain level, and this guy could throw him a curveball. This could be something that he won't be ready for, Badou Jack is...
No, Adonis Stevenson Adonis Stevenson is ripe for the picking. And if
and then when you look,
get him,
Badu Jack is one of those guys. I'm sure fighters look at him and say, "There's really nothing special about this guy." But you know, when he gets in there, again, it's all those that little subtle type, silent type. He's like a silent killer in there. He's a quiet guy outside the ring, and then, you know, people kind of look at him when he's inside the ring and be like, this guy's just, you know, he's solid, but there's nothing special about him. But he's just so well-rounded. He's just so well-rounded. He's just so well-rounded and solidly enough.
He said the same thing about Joe Calzaghe. He kept saying, Calzaghe's nothing special.
Yeah.
When he got in there, he found out otherwise.
Yeah, but he's just so well-rounded all around and solid enough in every category that he presents a challenge for people. You know, so that's just the way I look at it.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I think Andre Ward is. I don't think anybody beats until Andre Ward is a lot like until I see him beat. You know, man, I don't see anybody beating him until I see him with my own two eyes. I can't really pick against the guy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you.
Who's going to beat him? Even if he moves up and fights my boy Tony Bellew, can't really take Bellew. You know what I mean? This guy's never lost.
And imagine if Kovalev retires, like he's saying he's going to do now.
Kovalev's done. What are you going to do if I'm Sergey Kovalev? How are you coming back from that?
No,
how are you coming back? You ain't coming back from that, son.
No, he's mentally defeated there.
Done. He is done. His skill level is still there, no question about it. He's still the fighter he was before that fight. He's absolutely the fighter. Mentally, he is done. He's checked out. Because the first time he gets hit like that again, he's going to revert. It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody in the chat, Igloo in the chat said Kovalev Barrera is good. I would love to see that fight. I'm not so sure Sergey wants to see that fight, but I want to see it.
And that's a very doable fight because they're both with the same promoter too. That's a no-brainer, right?
Barrera needs to get some chances. Yeah, Barrera for sure needs to get some chances.
Yeah.
Andrew Tebi and Steve Cunningham. You know, I tell you what, Cunningham looked every bit his age in this one, man. Tebi just looked sharp, moving, jabbing the entire fight. Just you know, and what I noticed is Tebi is that Cunningham just would not cut off the ring. It was just a big follow. I mean, he would just follow him all around. Never cut off the ring.
But that's never been his claim to fame. He's usually a guy that can kind of just shoot straight shots from the outside and stick and move a lot, and, you know, land the sneaky right hand from the outside, you know, with that pesky jab, keeping you occupied, blind you a little bit, and then land that sneaky right behind it. All of a sudden, he's trying to turn himself into an inside fighter. And you know, the one weakness I see in Tebi is he doesn't really want to fight up close. He looks to hold and freeze the action. So I see, you know, problems down the road if he gets in there with a guy that can really slip and slide and be elusive up close and defend up close, like a cruiserweight version of Andre Ward. If Tebi faces someone like that, I think he's going to have some problems. But Steve Cunningham, you know, he was trying to close the distance, but when he got there, it took him a long time to get set, and he gave Tebi enough time to tie him up and contain him and get the referee to break him, and then he would just reset from the outside, and Tebi was just sticking and moving, pop, pop, pop for the outside, and Steve Cunningham's really slowed down, man. He's slowed down significantly. And,
yeah, he's in his 40s. He's 40-something years old, man. Yeah, he needs to go too. He needs to move it up, man, because he didn't look good in that fight. Scores of that fight were 97-93 twice and 190 as a unanimous decision. Tebi looked very good in there, but, you know, considering his opposition, I want to see him moved a little bit. You know, I want to see him maybe fight another tune-up fight before he fights somebody, you know, of quality. But I didn't hate the way Andrew Tebi looked. I'll tell you that.
He looked good.
He looked good. He did what he was supposed to do. He did what he was supposed to do.
I was impressed with his movement too. He moved very well.
I thought he moved great. I thought he really did. I thought he looked good in there.
He kept making Steve Cunningham have to shuffle his feet and reset, and you know, he was keeping him off balance. He was keeping him uncomfortable, and he was just really forcing him to constantly have to reset. And you know, Cunningham just couldn't reset. He was just a step behind. He just couldn't do it. Cunningham could not beat him to the spot, and that's what needed to be done.
Right. And I tell you, you know, with Tebi, my only knock on him was I thought he moved a little bit too much, wasted a little bit too much energy. you know. But
yeah, I
but
mean,
look,
yeah,
man, I mean, he lasted the whole 12 like that, so he's clearly got the energy. So
because we used to see him kind of like be a seek and destroy guy against a lot of opponents, but maybe he wanted to play a little bit safer with Steve Cunningham, thinking he's a wily veteran. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. And before we go to the phones, and 970, you're next, so just hang tight. Before we go to the phones, we had they're talking about Arthur Betterbeeve in the chat. Anybody know anything like what happened? It was some contract.
Yeah, what's going on with him?
He's with
what's going on with him?
Huh?
What's going on with him? He's with Heyman, isn't he?
No, he's with Jean-Michel, isn't it?
Well, he's
up in Canada.
Heyman, and he's also with that Canadian promoter. What's his name? Von Michel.
Yeah.
Apparently, I still think Heyman's his advisor, Eric, if I'm not mistaken.
But he's trying to leave his promoter, though. I think that's
I didn't know that.
Jim, it's GYM, so I believe that's the it's an acronym, initials or whatever. But somebody Michelle, it's Von Michel or Jean Michel or something like that.
Von Michel.
Okay.
Von Michel, yeah, Von.
So he had a contract dispute with them. And they're the promoters. They're the same ones that promote what is it, Pascal and
Butte.
Donna
Stevenson also.
Yeah.
So they're their promoters. So yeah, that's the thing that's why he hasn't been as active as he should have been. So, and I think it's still going on. So hopefully he gets it. Listen, man, he's a good prospect.
Yes, it is.
He needs to be active. If anybody needs to be active, it's him. He needs to be active.
And that's one thing I agree with Robbie on. I mean, these PBC fighters are on the shelf for too long.
But I don't hear them complaining. I don't hear them complaining though.
That's one of my biggest problems with the Premier Boxing Champion side of things. Their fighters don't fight often enough, and I understand that they're getting paid really well. I get that, but you're not doing your career, any good by constantly not doing anything. I don't understand that philosophy.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's from a fan standpoint, it's very irritating. But until I hear the fighters complain about it, they must be okay with it. 970, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's up, hand wrap?
What's up, Robbie? I'm calling specifically for you, buddy. I'm here to save you from these two liars. This fight was not as good as it's currently being advertised by everybody, Robbie.
Son, you're out of your mind.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you know why it wasn't? Because Pacquiao wasn't in it. That's why.
My opinion when we're on next.
That's because Pacquiao wasn't in it. This guy thinks Jeff Horn versus Manny Pacquiao was fight of the year.
Who the fuck is Jeff Horn?
Yo, man. Oh, man. I think this fight is a prime example of a very low set bar being met.
It was a low bar.
It was a low bar.
It really was a low bar. I'm admitting that.
Robbie, if anything, the bar was met, and you know how below that bar was. So,
this was 10 foot over the bar.
I gave. Oh man, no way. That shit
was
at the bar, man, and the bar was fucking low. You're gonna tell me you didn't listen? I guess it all depends on what your.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it? Did you watch it?
Of course.
Did you pay for it?
Oh yeah, man. I went out with my girl. I didn't, but let me tell you the story. I was supposed to pay the coverage, and the people at the door were so drunk they just let me through. Me and my girl, I was like, all right, well, this fight ain't worth the fucking coverage anyway. But now I feel like I definitely would have been worth at least $35. I don't know about the $100 though. You thought it was worth $100 for this spectacle, dude?
I did, man. I did. I didn't. No. You know what? I didn't feel cheated after. I didn't feel cheated at all. Beeb, did you feel cheated afterwards?
Hey,
no, man.
I thought it was good. Everybody I talked to a person was fine with it.
Your guys' scorecards is just as ridiculous as the fucking scorecards that night.
Oh, get out of here! Steve Farhood had the same score we had.
Totally
a lot of people had the same. A lot of people had the same card. Come on, man.
Get the fuck out of here. Mr. Karate and his fucking arm punches was not impressive, bro. I don't know what the fuck.
Again, it does.
He wasn't punching back.
Horrible.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if he was freaking hitting him with a feather duster. If the other guy's not doing anything, you got to give him the round. Same thing with Jeff Horn. Pacquiao wasn't doing a lot, man. Jeff Horn was.
Robbie, listen to me. You're the reasonable.
He didn't even see the fight. Why are you asking his question?
He didn't even watch
He didn't watch it.
He's a smart man. I wouldn't.
You watched it.
I would have stayed home and watched.
Stop trying to coerce him. Stop trying to.
Robbie doesn't drink the Kool-Aid, baby.
Robbie,
Next Saturday.
Robbie,
Yeah.
Robbie, you are a single man, as you mentioned before.
That's correct.
I am a man who is married to a beautiful woman who loves to go out, and this was the kind of show where the women are gonna want to go out.
That's
so
correct.
I was dragged out of the house, or else I'd have been home watching the HBO Cotto fucking fight.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, right.
But
yeah, okay.
Now, go ahead. Look, I'm telling you, man. This fight is. Oh, Robbie, listen. Karate stand. He landed an uppercut or two that were nice. Kept switching back and forth. It was ridiculous. The first round was the only round he won clearly. The second round, third round was super fucking close, like a Mayweather round where he absolutely throws no punches. Of course, it's close, but just one man trying to, work his way in. Can't really catch him. Can't really find Floyd. Floyd ain't really throwing anything, so you could give it to the guy who was coming forward, right? All right. That's the second and third round. The fourth round on, Mayweather took over. And listen, Mayweather was walking this big son of a bitch down, and this motherfucker had a huge size advantage. That was, I think, what took Floyd off his game plan a little bit, because he was prepared to study the guy a round or two. But I think he took that extra round because he felt that uppercut, and he's like, oh, shit, maybe this guy does have a pack of power. But that was the only punch McGregor threw where he actually looked like he had any form to his punches. The rest of them were
the body shots. The
punches,
body
man.
shots.
Like, my girl throws a better fucking punch than that. I swear to fucking God, that shit was weak as a motherfucker. Anyway,
you guys are ninja. Come on.
Listen, but Mayweather walked this motherfucker down. By the end of the fight, fucking McGregor's gloves were by his knees.
Because he was tired.
Doing the fucking rope-a-dope with no fucking rope there.
I got to disagree with Eric, man. I like the way Mayweather finished this fight, though. I do.
Yeah, he did good. I mean, he did. He finished it like he should have finished it. But he should have.
Mayweather landed like 5 consecutive right hands in a row, and if this guy wasn't so big, or if Mayweather was, say, a little bit more of a puncher, anybody else, fucking Earl Spence would have laid this guy out fourth round, KO'd. And as a matter of fact, it wouldn't have been fourth round because there's no way McGregor would have fucking walked anybody down. He didn't even walk Mayweather down. Mayweather was allowing him to come forward.
He was
see what he had.
He was feeling him out for the first 4 or 5 rounds. He was feeling him out for the first 4 or 5 rounds.
6 rounds. Man, this fight was garbage, Robbie. You didn't. The bar was set so low. It meant that fucking bar, but that was it, guys. Don't oversell me. Come on. Who? Another question. Who does McGregor beat in a boxing ring? That's respectable. Who? Name one.
Paulie Malignaggi.
Yeah, he already beat Paulie Malignaggi. So.
Oh, that's the only guy you guys got. Paulie ain't shit, but that's sad. That's
Last Joe. I don't know.
All right, guys. Hey, Gervonta Davis. What did you guys think about that fight, man? That was kind of bullshit. The stoppage, right? Like,
yeah, it was weird, man. It was weird.
Oh, Brian, no.
No, it was a weird stoppage, man. I was.
What stoppage? What stoppage again? I'm sorry.
Hey, anybody?
Gervonta Davis.
Did you guys?
It was a foul. It shouldn't even have been a stoppage, man. That was a foul. He was counted out on a foul.
Yo, man, I think he would have won that fight anyways. But that was bullshit, man. Like this. That was a clear rabbit punch, man. He would
have won the fight. Absolutely would have won the fight, but that was a disqualification right there.
Yeah, it was a weird one, man.
Yeah, man. I didn't like that stoppage, and quite frankly, I've been huge on Davis, but he lost some points with me last night only because his flashiness, man. And it's not that I hate flashy people. Like, I'm okay if you're braggadocious and you're doing your work. But I mean, it was, when it's over the top, excessive, and you can tell he's just trying to take a little page out of his master's book. you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, man. It didn't rub me the right way. My girl was even like, who the fuck is this guy? You know?
Well, you can't respect. Hey, you can't respect a fighter who doesn't show up to really fight, and he lost his title on the scale. I mean, come on. If you're going to lose your title, lose it legitimately in the ring. Now anybody can grab that title, and who says you're going to get another title shot?
Well,
you know, you're not going to beat Lomachenko, for Christ's sakes. Who are you going to beat now?
Well, he said he's moving up to lightweight.
Yeah,
he said he's moving up to lightweight now. He's moving up to 135. So he's we'll cleaned up by Mikey Garcia.
He had a clear size advantage over this guy, and you know, for all the flashiness, you know, especially at the bar scene, everybody. This guy like, okay, man, you out here flashy, you dancing, but you ain't throwing no fucking punches. Like, do something, man. This guy's so easy, and get him the fuck out of here. I saw that man dancing for like 5 fucking rounds. I'm like, what's he doing? Is he gonna get this guy out of here? Because he was obviously the better fighter. So I don't know, man. To be honest, I kind of wanted to touch that a little bit because he just lost mad points, mad respect points. You know, he's still a good fighter. I don't see him beating Lomachenko or anybody serious right now, but. Yeah, man, he lost. No. Gervonta Davis lost mad points with me.
He's the Adrian Bronner. He's another Adrian Bronner.
That shit was weak, man. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys because I know you guys do this on your time off. So, Robbie, don't let these guys lie to you, man. That's why you need to DVR that shit. Watch that shit when you got time, man. It ain't worth it. All right, guys, take care.
All right, hand wraps. Yeah, don't listen to him, Robbie. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'll give our callers credit, guys. We're getting all sizes of opinions. That's great. That's what's great about doing this show. So
hand wraps is like hand wraps is just trolling, man. You know he paid for that fight outright.
Yeah, and you know what? Hey, hand wraps, don't use my single status against me. I'd love to have a woman and go out and do things. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, hand wraps. Why are you hating on Robbie like that? What's the matter with you? Killing him. What's the matter with you? 773, going back to Illinois. 773, you're live. Maybe
hello,
not.
Chicago, you're on.
Oh, guys. Oh, I'm sorry. It's Dale again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Were you just listening?
I came to listen, but,
I'm sorry. No, it's all good. All right, thanks, man. All right, that was Dale. Dale from Chicago. Just listening. All right. So, and then, of course, on the undercard, Yordenis Ugas versus Thomas Delorme. Ugas wins 94-91, 93-92 twice. Juan Heraldez versus Jose Miguel Borrego. Heraldez wins 96-93, 97-92 twice. Robert, you've been very quiet because you didn't watch the pay-per-view. You missed out on the boxing event of a lifetime, and I dare say a boxing event of your lifetime. You missed out on this. I believe you missed out on this. B believes you missed out on this. More importantly, Ohio believes that you missed out on this, which is more important than all of it. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about the HBO fights, which we know you did watch. You did watch in the entirety. You did watch Miguel Cotto smash Kamegai for 12 rounds in this snooze fest. Let me just give you the scores: 120-108, 119-109, 118-110. Was this as boring and as dull as the scores would indicate? Robert, give us your opinion.
Okay, guys, I'm going to be straight up here with you. I told everybody last week that I thought that this fight was a no-brainer. Cotto would win easily. I didn't think it would be a contest, and it was not. And for Freddie Roach, Max Kellerman, and those at HBO and Golden Boy to indicate that they want to see Miguel Cotto fight the winner of Triple G Canelo in December, you're dreaming. He's done. Last night, the prime Puerto Rican Miguel Cotto, in his prime, would have totally KO'd and destroyed Kamegai like he destroyed Sergio Martinez. Miguel Cotto showed last night that that he does not belong in the boxing ring anymore. He should not get one more fight. He should just go ahead and retire, because like you guys said about Floyd Mayweather, and like you've said about Steve Cunningham, and like you said about Nathan Cleverly and a few other people yesterday, Miguel Cotto should no longer be in a boxing ring. Last night should be his going away fight, his gold watch, as Steve Kim calls it. He should not get another fight in December. And for Freddie Roach and other people to call for the winner of Canelo and Triple G. Number one, he's already fought with Canelo. I don't want to see that again. And frankly, Golovkin would wipe the floor with this version of Miguel Cotto. It was not worth watching. And Cotto should be done. The fight that was worth watching was the one on the undercard where I got to see somebody brand new that people in the lighter weight classes are going to have to watch out for, and that's Ray Vargas. Ray Vargas at 5'10" and only 122 pounds actually showed up and put on a display against a pretty decent fighter in Ronnie Rios. He thoroughly dominated him, and with his size at that weight class, I think the scale is going to take him out of that weight division. But as long as he can stay there, he's going to be a serious problem for fighters in that weight class. That's the fighter that should be talked about. Miguel Cotto, you had a wonderful career. Write up your speech for Canastota because your boxing career is over. Wow. Done. Finished.
Robbie, you're so harsh. You're so
but that was the real fight, Robbie, last night, supposedly.
Yeah, that was the one that all boxing fans should have watched. That was the
real fight. That was the real fight.
Look,
right.
Beeb, Eric, for those that are saying that on the internet, it just goes to show me that they're not true boxing fans.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
That was not a real fight. It was a one-sided beatdown.
That's it. I agree. I saw it. I saw the scores of it, and I'm like, you serious? I mean, come on. And then, this is where the real fight is taking place, right here in Carson or whatever, Carson, yes. California.
Yeah,
super event.
This is where the big events. This is where all the real boxing fans are at.
Oh,
wasn't Dan Raphael at the Mayweather fight? Wasn't Dan Raphael at the Mayweather fight?
Oh, and he was
ready. You said to go to Las Vegas. They told him to go to Las Vegas.
They said, pack your bags and go to Las Vegas and pack your desk and get out of ESPN, son. You're going to the fight.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Airhead, boy.
Did you see the coverage this fight got last night? They had the whole post-fight press conference on ESPN last night.
Yeah.
When did they ever do that before?
Never.
They had Chael Sonnen. They had Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas was sitting there talking with Stephen A. Smith about cheeseburgers and steaks and stuff.
That guy, did you see that clip? What in the world was going on?
What a retarded analogy that was. I was getting ready to go to Taco Bell after that discussion. I mean, cut it out, Teddy.
Did you see Stephen A. Smith say that they take more punishment in the UFC than they take in boxing? Stephen A. This is what he said. He said that they take more punishment. He said McGregor would be better off going back to the UFC because they take less punishment in the UFC.
Oh, is that what he said?
No, he said they take less. Yeah, they take less punishment. Less punishment. He would be better off boxing because they take less punishment in boxing than they do the UFC. Are you Eric, crazy?
Eric Connor did say last night, I did hear, unless you heard something differently, he said he was going to go back to the UFC and defend his titles.
Yeah, that was the plan from the get-go. That's what I've always heard, is that he's going. It's like kind of like a one-off, and he's going back to the UFC. I know Paulie is going to troll a little bit and try to get him to stay, but yeah, man, I tell you what, man, there's no way you take way more punishment in boxing than you do the UFC. I don't care how many times you get kicked in the head. Listen, you get kicked in the head once, you're going to go. All right. In boxing, you get hit with many shots. They have a chance to recover. That's why you have all this traumatic brain injury in boxing, man. Boxing is a far, far more dangerous sport than MMA. In MMA, when it's done, you tap. And the referees also, too, in MMA, they will stop a fight quicker than a lot quicker. They will always err on the side of caution than letting the fight go. They will always step in there, man, because, I mean, listen, man, you can get seriously hurt in there. But boxing, to me, is far more dangerous because it's the repetition of, the head trauma that goes on over and over and over.
That's the worst kind of injury you can ever have is head trauma.
It's awful. Yeah, I mean, and I wish there was a way to to make it safer. Because, I mean, who likes seeing the heroes? I mean, who likes seeing Thomas Hearns and listening to him speak? And he may be, his faculties may be there, but again, his slurred speech, Terry Norris, another one, Meldrick Taylor, another one, we can go on and on. But yeah, and granted, MMA hasn't been around for that long, so who knows, hopefully what we do not see down the pike with them. But yeah, I mean, get it together over there at ESPN, man. He's not, boxing is a far more dangerous sport, far more dangerous, especially with the long-term effects, man. It's just, far worse. So let's talk about the upcoming fights, and I think it's pretty barren, the schedule here. September 1st, Robert, is that Friday?
That would be a Friday. Yep.
All right. Robbie's he's my savant here, man. He knows those dates back and forth, man. On Estrella TV, Robert's channel, Manny Robles versus the dreaded TBA, 8 rounds, featherweights. And let's see what we got on BN Sports. Oh, this is the fight of the year right here. September 2nd, Saturday on BN Sports from Chihuahua, Mexico, or Chihuahua, if you're from that country. On BN Sports. You remember WKRP in Cincinnati, the show with remember Wes Sussman? He used to pronounce it Chihuahua.
Yep, I remember that.
Antonio Margarito versus Carson Jones, 10 rounds, middleweights.
Oh
what about that?
Really?
What about that? That's the fight of the year right there.
Who the hell sanctioned that? My God.
Probably the same people that sanctioned Mayweather-McGregor.
My God. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. That's it for the fights this weekend. How barren is that? Well, but the weekend after that.
You know what? We might as well just take next week off. There's nothing to talk about, man.
Yeah, exactly. Now the weekend after that, September 9th, we got Superfly. And that's the rematch between that's a killer card right there.
Yeah.
Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez versus Sor Rungvisai. That rematch. We got Naoya Inoue, the monster, Corey's boy. I know I've seen Corey snooping out there in the chat. Corey's boy, Naoya Inoue, is going to take his first loss on national TV on HBO broadcast against Antonio Nieves.
Yeah, he's going to make his United States debut. Yep.
And he's going to lose, man. Nieves is from Cleveland, son. Titletown, baby, Ohio. He ain't getting past him. And then Carlos Cuadras versus Juan Francisco Estrada. I can't wait to see that fight. Is going to be amazing too, man. So
that's going to be a hell of a card.
It's amazing.
It really is.
It's an awesome card, man. And then a week after that, of course, September 16th, moving into that card. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff right there. Good stuff.
What do you think? What do you think these pay-per-view numbers are going to come in at?
Yeah, let's talk about that, man. Okay, so let's talk about the pay-per-view numbers here. I think we can talk about it, man. I tell you what, I think that pay-per-view, 5 bills, baby, 5 million buys.
Yeah,
5 million easily, and it easily eclipsed Pacquiao Mayweather. Easy.
Yep. I've heard the possibility of even 6.
I wouldn't doubt it. That's
Imagine that.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But now, you know what's funny is that the fight didn't sell out. There were about 15,000 people attending in the 20,000 seat arena. I think it was 14 something.
Yeah.
We rounded up to about 15,000. So there's about 15,000 people there. And everybody's saying, well, see, the fight didn't even sell out, blah, blah, blah. Mayweather said that the gate should break 80 million with just 15,000.
What was the average ticket price for that fight, would you say?
Probably 5.
5
maybe.
The smallest ticket price you saw was $1,800. The biggest was 10,000.
No, some of them
were going for like 70 G's.
Some of them were
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, but the gate.
So let's just say the average ticket price was 5,000. So what's 5,000 times 15,000? I mean, do the math.
Yeah. And not only that, all the movie theaters that showed it around the country, all the casinos that showed it around the country, all the bars that paid to have it, they're going to make so much money. Boxing will never break this record, whatever it turns out to be.
75 million.
Will never break this record.
75 million. Yeah.
So that's worst case scenario, but so.
Yeah, and you know what? We say that boxing will never break this record. We were saying that just a couple years ago with the Pacquiao thing. You know, and when pay-per-view was down, I mean, but it's awesome.
Let's think about this logically, guys, though. Who would be two fighters that are in boxing now that would create enough of a buzz to even come close to something like this? Can you think of two guys in the same weight class that actually fight one another?
Well, the great thing is it doesn't have to be anymore. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, they proved that with this fight. It doesn't have to be two boxers.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be an event. I mean, it could be an event. So, yeah, I mean, any kind of fun event like this was a fun event, you know? So, yeah, absolutely. So, even though this didn't sell out. Go ahead.
Eric, you're the UFC guy on this show.
Sure.
Who would be the next MMA guy to try this?
Well, I would say John Jones, but he's got some legal issues. Yeah.
Could John Jones just leave the UFC and go to Bellator, or what would happen?
He's got the dirty pee-pee.
No,
right.
he can't.
Got busted.
He got busted by USADA for taking Teranobolin or Terabolin or something.
Does Bellator use USADA testing though?
It doesn't matter. He'll be suspended by the commission, and once he's suspended by the commission, he'll be suspended for good. You
think all the commissions would follow suit?
They will all follow suit. Yeah, I mean, he could turn up in Japan somewhere fighting for maybe what is it? one promotion or something like that. It was Horizon One or something. It was something like that. He can go to South Africa. There's a promotion over there. Now they might even honor it. I don't know. They might even honor the suspension. Signs point to no, but they might. Who knows? He'll be fighting overseas. He can still fight in. He can still wrestle in like jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff like that. He can, because he was doing that on a suspension. Obviously, nowhere near the amount of money there is in UFC or fighting. In general. Chael Sonnen, I know, has a wrestling promotion where they do like amateur wrestling kind of thing. Submission wrestling. I think they call it Submission Underground or Submission Wrestling Underground or something like that. So, I mean, he could still make a living, but it's not going to be anywhere near what he was making in the UFC for sure. So he's going to be hurting if he's out for 4 years, which we suspect he may be. That drug that he came out and said he thinks it's a tainted supplement. There's a couple problems with that whole line of thinking, because the supplement that the steroid he was popped with wouldn't be anywhere near a supplement. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be it's not the kind of thing that if they were going to taint a supplement, that's not what they would taint it with. It was also, that the steroid that he was busted with is also very common in powerlifting, which John was involved in prior to his comeback in UFC. He was involved in powerlifting. That's what, some of his time off was spent doing, that and a lot of jiu-jitsu and wrestling. So it's a tough road. It's going to be a tough road back for him. And after 4 years, essentially, his career, he'd be 34 maybe when he comes back, right around there, I believe. 4 years off, it would be very difficult to come back. It would be very difficult. His career, if he gets a 4-year suspension, his career is just about over. Yeah, and to answer your question again, yeah, could he go to Bellator? No. Can't go he won't be able to go anywhere in the United States and fight. He is suspended. He would be suspended just depending on when it comes down. And
let's take John Jones out of the question. Anybody else on the UFC horizon that would be willing to try this?
Who knows? I mean, who knows? They all have to box. They all box or do Muay Thai or something like that. No,
could John Jones go in the WWE?
John Jones absolutely could 100% go in the WWE. And face Brock Lesnar there, because he's not going to face him in the UFC.
That's what I'm thinking.
Brock Lesnar is one of those guys that bring in monster ratings for the UFC. He would be their biggest draw if he were to come back to the UFC. I mean, he's a huge draw for the WWE. He's a huge draw in the UFC. He could be a crossover star. But as far as boxing goes, clearly he's not going to put on gloves.
What weight class is he?
He's a heavyweight.
Fight in boxing.
He's a heavyweight, but no, he wouldn't fight anybody in boxing. But Stipe Miocic from Cleveland, Ohio. Stipe Miocic is the heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC, and they were talking with Anthony Joshua. I don't think that'll happen. I don't think Dana White. I think Dana White in the UFC, this was a one-off, and I don't think Stipe could generate the type of numbers that obviously Conor did. And I don't think Anthony Joshua could generate the kind of numbers either. I mean, he's a very popular fighter, but not on that kind of level, man. Not on that kind of. I think you're gonna have to wait a couple years for somebody to, to come out and make it happen. So yeah, I mean, you would have said like Ronda Rousey could have made that transition. Somebody like that as far as popularity goes in the UFC. But yeah, it's
but
it's a tough road,
unfortunately on the women's side of thing for boxing, there's no name that would even come close to her.
No, so, Cyborg is going to reach there. Cyborg is going to get very popular here in a little bit. And she's been training for years, and she should be popular now. But Chris Cyborg on the UFC end of things is going to be very popular here in a little bit. But nothing crossover. She actually sparred Clarissa Shields. Actually did pretty well. I mean, lost. Clearly was got the better by Clarissa. Got the better of her. But yeah, I mean, she'll be big. I don't know if she'll be crossover big, but she'll be pretty big. So okay. I don't see anything like on the immediate horizon that could beat this, but you never know, man. I didn't see anything on the immediate horizon that would beat Maypac either, but yeah, I mean, it sure did.
No, I've heard anywhere from 5 to 6 million pay-per-view buys. I don't know when the numbers will officially come out, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they are.
I am too. Leonard Ellerby said that the gate would still break the 72 million. I believe 72 million was a Pacquiao gate, and this would definitely break that. And Mayweather said they would break 80 million. So at that point, anybody squawking about a sellout, if the fight was sold out or not, I mean, does it really matter? I mean, seriously, does it really matter how much ticket prices were? Does it matter that they didn't sell out? I mean, you broke the gate. I mean, what more do you want? So yeah, I mean, nothing more here. We talked about the scorecards a little bit earlier. Those scores, Beeb, you and I, you, myself, Steve Farhood, everybody I know had it close. Yeah. The scorecards revealed had Mayweather winning all but one round. Were you surprised when you saw the scorecards?
One of them only had McGregor winning one round. The other two, I think, had him winning 2 or 3. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know, man. I just saw a different fight than that. I really did.
Corey in the chat. I'm on hold. I'm waiting every 2 minutes. I'm waiting. Let me
let him on
the show.
I'm trying to see what he has to say about this.
Yeah, bring him on, Eric.
Bring him on, Corey.
Remember, he ducked your bet.
He did. He did duck the bet. I don't know if I should bring him on or not. 804, you're live.
Yo, what's up? I'm back.
Oh, God.
Y'all is the best announcer on air. Let's go, Corey.
The best announcer on air. When are we giving Corey his own show? That's what everybody wants to know. When are we giving Corey his own show? I get inundated, Corey. I get inundated with Twitter and emails each day saying, when is Corey going to have his own show?
Yo, y'all need to give me a show, man. I don't know what's the holdup, man.
Well, the holdup is nobody's really tweeting me about that. I just lied about that. But
That's awesome. That's awesome.
What'd you think, Corey? Did you watch the fight? What'd you think, man?
I watched the Conor McGregor, and I honestly thought, this is my hand to God. I called the 10th round knockout in the 3rd round. I said it's gonna probably go about 9 or 10. Then by the 6th round, I said for sure 10. You can put anybody can add me. I put the live chat on there, so I was on there live, and I called a 10th round knockout.
Corey called it a 10th round knockout. In the 10th round after the referee stopped the fight.
Well, I mean, do you think he could handle any more punches after that? I mean,
no. After that 9th round, I knew he was done. Yeah, after that 9th round, you knew he was done.
But I'm gonna tell y'all right now. My personal opinion, I think Mayweather had him figured out in the second round, and I think he carried him on from the 5th round up. I think he carried McGregor on from the 5th round up.
Then why was he losing rounds, though?
Carried McGregor.
I don't think so, man, because he was losing rounds.
So it can be competitive. So it can be more, you know, they paying so much money to watch the fight. And you know what I mean? Like, I think I honestly think he could have took him out at any given round after the 5th round. I honestly feel like that.
Before I respond,
really do.
Igloo 2 in the chat says Corey needs his own show. That's a direct quote. Now let me respond to you. I think that, yeah, I think it's a stretch to say he carried him. I really do. Because when you're carrying somebody, you don't lose rounds on purpose. You never lose rounds on purpose. You don't just throw away rounds.
That's what I'm saying, though. But that's what I'm trying to tell y'all, though. Look, listen, though. If he's losing rounds, right? If he's losing rounds, and he knows, if you know you can take this guy out after the 5th round at any given round, you don't care if you're going to win rounds or lose rounds. You're just waiting for this guy to gas. From the 5th round on, and I'm a huge McGregor fan, from the 5th round on, McGregor gassed every round after that. You could just see a steady decline.
For sure.
He was shooting up from round 1 to round 4. He was shooting up like a fire rocket. He was just shooting straight up in the air. And then by about the 4th or 5th round, he started slowly declining. By the 7th round, he was fucking balls to the wall going downhill.
Yeah.
And I mean, if y'all didn't see that, y'all didn't probably watch the fight close enough. You know what I mean? I watched the fight close with casuals.
Yeah, I said he was gassed about the fourth, 5th round. You could see about the 4th round, you could see him getting tired. In the 5th round, you could see he was exhausted. Yeah, for sure. I was surprised he lasted as long as he did, as fatigued as he was.
I think that he lasted that long. I honestly think y'all can watch it again. I think Mayweather carried him. I honestly, truly do. Mayweather was having fun. He was laughing. He was joking. He had charisma. He didn't look worried in any round. He was really hitting on all cylinders if you really think about it.
What did you make
Stephen
of?
A. Smith said he looked real old. He looked real old. He looked like if any other top contenders, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Earl Spence, he said he would have had a hell of a time beating any of those top contenders at 147 on title holders. He said, you know what I mean, pretty much, and I'm quoting him. He said, he would have had a very long night with Earl Spence.
Who said this now?
If not getting beat, if he put on that performance. Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
He said if he put on that performance, if the performance that he put on right now against Conor McGregor, if he put on that performance against Earl Spence, he would have probably lost that fight.
He would have gotten knocked out by Spence,
I'm just saying what Stephen A. said. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, but at some point, I kind of agree with him. I mean, Earl Spence is way more sharper than Conor McGregor with when we're talking about boxing. And McGregor was hitting Mayweather at will the first couple rounds.
Right.
Them uppercuts were chopping, man. I mean, if you see some of those uppercuts that Mayweather got hit with, did any of y'all see that?
Yeah.
I know Robbie didn't order it. Come on, Robbie. What kind of host are you, dude? You're supposed to be watching all boxing televised fights, man. Come on, Robbie. Come on.
Yeah, Robbie.
Come on, man.
What are you doing?
Come on, man. Shame on you. You're not going to give Mayweather enough credit. You watched all 48 of his fights, Robbie. And you're not all 49 of his fights.
Wait,
you're not going to give Mayweather the greatest fighter of all time. You're not going to watch his 50th fight to break Rocky Marciano's record? Come on, Robbie. We're disappointed in you, buddy.
Robert, taking it on the chin here.
Robert just quiet over there. He's boiling up. I got Robbie boiling right now. But yeah, and some of the other fights, I'm gonna get quick to some of the other fights real quick. The Cherry Arnold Johnson fight, that was actually kind of it was shocking, but then again it wasn't because he's been taken off for so many. I think he's had 2 fights in 2-3 years. I feel like he still hasn't looked right ever since the Curtis Stevens fight, but that's just my personal opinion. And the guy that he fought was actually surprisingly pretty good. He was technically sound. I don't know what it is, the 160-pound division.
Yes.
Okay.
160.
So yeah, so they're in a 160-pound division. So there's a bunch of killers in that division. I mean, you got one of the Charlos. What do you think about that guy since he's in PBC? What do you think about that guy facing the guy that faced Toriano Johnson? What do you think about him facing maybe one of the Charlo brothers that moved up to 160? What do you feel about that?
Derevyanchenko versus one of the Charlos. I don't hate that fight. I don't hate that fight at all.
I think he loses, but I think he makes a good account of himself.
Yeah.
You think he loses? I don't know, man. He looks like he's got a sturdy chin. I didn't see him hurt in any of his fights.
He's a good fighter.
He fought some top contenders.
Yeah, he's solid, but
I'm out here.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back, Robbie.
He didn't even hear him go in on him. He didn't even hear him go in on him. He just left.
I heard it, but I couldn't. I heard it, but I couldn't answer. I had to take care of this.
He didn't even hear him. He was like, all right, he's done yelling at me. He's all right, I'm back now.
Yep.
Love it.
No,
but
as far as the Johnson Derevyanchenko fight, the right guy won. And I think Charlo fighting him would be a good fight, but Charlo is superior skilled. I think he would take him out.
So what do y'all think? How do y'all feel about that? That guy from Richmond, Virginia. That's where I'm from. He actually trained. I've actually trained at his gym before. You know what I'm saying? The guy Aleem. He's from Richmond, Virginia. He got knocked out. He might have got a candidate of knockout of the year. But
that was
he
a devastating knockout, man. It was.
And he beat the guy that Lomachenko trains with, the guy from Ukraine. He was a gold medalist, and I think, and Aleem knocked him out. Aleem's last fight, he knocked out a Ukraine gold medalist at 160 pounds, and it was supposed to be this new wave of Ukraine, taking over. And Aleem upset him. He was actually a favorite to lose. He was actually supposed to lose that fight. Aleem wound up knocking the gold medalist out from Ukraine that trains with Lomachenko. And then for Aleem to get knocked out on this fight after he was holding the WBC silver championship for the 160-pound division, it was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, we thought you were the good. We thought you were the fucking good, dude. You just knocked out a fucking gold medalist, and then you show us this. What the fuck is that? We really thought you were the good, Aleem. I mean, I'm very disappointed in that fight, man. And then, that was on, what was that, PBC? What was that on Friday? Which I can't remember what day that was, but it was stunning, man. It was a stunning knockout, man, because what it was is Aleem was riding that hype from his last fight. By beating the gold medalist and, pretty much knocking him out in convincing fashion. It was a toe-to-toe fight. I can't remember the Ukraine guy's name because you got all these Ukraine and Russian guys popping out of the fucking woodworks right now. I feel like as small as Ukraine is, you got so many fucking Ukraine boxers out here right now, dude. Do y'all agree?
There are, yeah. I mean, they've got a really good core group, and I think where do they? Do you know where they train at? Are they training like Chicago or something like that, or?
No, most of them train at Robert Garcia's gym in Southern California.
What about
I remember they had like
Robert Garcia sold his gym. Remember
that's
that?
Right. That's what it was. Yeah, that's
because Klimas bought that gym. So yeah. But then you have a lot of the trainers. Who's that trainer that Danny Jacobs is trainer? What's that guy's name? Oh shit, forget his name.
Andre Rozier.
Andre Rozier, yeah, he works with a few of them
he
too.
He was training Rozier trained a couple foreign guys, a couple German guys too. He trained training the guy right now.
Matter of fact, Rozier is training the guy that beat Johnson on Friday.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. But Rozier actually trains the guy that was supposed to fight Billy Joe Sanders, a deal or whatever, to knock out the white Mike Tyson.
Oh yeah. That's correct. Yeah,
Rozier trains about 3 to 4 top 10 middleweights. Did y'all know that? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Andre's got a good stable there. He's an up and coming trainer, man. So watch out.
So yeah. I want to touch on a couple different fights. I just want to touch on few more fighters that I had on my mind. How do y'all feel? I still have yet to watch it yet, y'all. But maybe y'all can give me some insight on it right now. How do y'all feel about Gervonta Davis right now? I don't know his opponent. I never heard of him. I feel like he just came out of nowhere. He was a last-minute replacement, I guess. And how do y'all feel like he did? Did he do good?
No,
he looked flat. He looked flat. Looked kind of uninspired. Looked like he was trying to like BS his way out of the fight. To be honest with you, he's kind of coasting. Kind of playing around a little too much. Didn't look like he took the fight serious, to be honest.
I've seen some of the highlights. He was like showboating a lot. Did he showboat? Was he showboating too much?
Yeah, it seemed like he was playing around a little too much. Like he wasn't really taking the fight serious. And even when he was showboating, I think Fonseca was kind of hitting him still. So it was kind of a poor attempt at showboating.
I don't know. I don't know if y'all heard this yet or not, but they're saying that Gervonta Davis, this will be his last fight at 135 or 130 pounds, whichever one he's at.
It's going to have to be his last fight because they can't.
Said he's moving up.
He has to, because what are you going to do? You're going to sink all this money into promotion and everything like that for his 130 pounds that he can't make? He's got to move up. Yeah, I heard that too. That he's going to have to move up. And who loses the title on the scale? That's like Adrian Bronner type stuff, man. He's got to move up, but then he moves up, and then what? He's going to get marked by Robert Easter.
What it is? You know what it is, though? Let me tell y'all something about this. And y'all heard it here first. I don't know Gervonta Davis personally, but I'm in Richmond, Virginia. He's in Baltimore, so he's not that far. The Headbangers Gym, he trains there sometimes.
Yeah.
I could go check him out, but from what I'm hearing, this whole superstar thing is starting to get – he's not training like he used to.
That's what I'm hearing,
and for
too.
him to miss weight like that, that's a telltale sign, y'all. Y'all heard it here first. I don't want him to wind up like Adrian Bronner. I don't think he doesn't have a drinking problem. He doesn't have any problems that I can see firsthand, that I've heard in the news or anything. But from what I can see right now, he's losing the championship, the belt on the scales. I mean, that's you know what I mean? That's something to talk about, man, because I feel like, where's your dedication at? Where's your TMT at? Where's the next making of Floyd Mayweather at? A lot of people said they didn't see it Saturday night.
That's the thing, man. I've heard that too. I heard that same story, and I heard all week he had been spotted at clubs and stuff like that. There was a lot of rumors going around, so who knows if they're true or not. But there was enough of those rumors going around to make you believe that, yeah, it's probably true. The fact that he comes in 2 pounds heavy, then blames it on a cold. Listen, I don't know. I mean, you're not going to retain water with a cold. I mean, come on. I mean, he could still train with a cold. That was just like, come on, man. And hey, listen, man, the thing is, it's hard to make weight. I'm not going to, and look, we all know it's difficult. It's a difficult process. Nobody enjoys it. It's one of the hardest things to do.
What I'm saying is, I feel like he just moved up in weight from another weight division.
Right.
Wasn't he at like 126?
Yeah.
Was he just at 126 last year?
And Reese Mack in the chat said he's too young to be losing the titles on the scale. He's 100% right. He is. This is something you expect, when he's older or something like that.
23 years old. He was.
No, I think what's happened here is the fame and the celebrities got to his head, and he thinks he can get away with crap, and he's only 22 years old, so there's no excuse for what happened. None. And
Legendary Boxer says in the chat, Tank said he was injured in the chat. Tank said he was injured. Relax, and he was like, he's knocked out 2 guys in a row. Listen, I'll tell you what, you look at that fight and you tell me he looked like the Tank, like what we're used to. That guy was not a heck of a fighter that he was in there with.
He said the guy that said relax, he needs to relax, because if Lomachenko got the fucking Gervonta Davis that he's seen on Saturday, he gets smoked.
Yeah.
So you relax, buddy. You relax. Because if Lomachenko got ahead of Gervonta Davis Saturday night for the co-main event, he would have got smoked.
Oh, well, before we get rid of Corey, we got to talk to him about his boy. We got to talk to him about his boy, the so-called monster.
Oh yeah,
What
Naoya
about that,
Inoue.
Corey?
Yeah, what about Naoya Inoue? You gonna watch
What are we
him?
talking about?
Naoya Inoue? You're gonna watch him take
yeah.
his first loss at Superfly, son. You know who he's fighting? Huh? The guy from Cleveland, daddy. Antonio Nieves from Cleveland, baby. Cleveland's own. Demolishes the monster right in front of Corey's eyes. He's going to go down, son. It's all over but the crying. Superfly, what is it, September 8th? September 8th? Yeah, September 8th, I think. Is it 8th or 9th, Robert?
9-9 on your calendar.
Superfly, son. That's gonna be the card.
And it was like I was.
Your boys get murked.
Like, he's been under the radar lately because he had that fight schedule where him and Roman Chocolatito were supposed to fight, but remember Roman Chocolatito lost the fight. He fucked everything up. They were scheduled to fight.
Let me tell you what.
Really see what the monster can do.
Let me tell you what. I was at the fight. Roman didn't lose that fight. I thought he was jobbed in that fight, man. I had Roman winning pretty clear, like 116, 112. I had everybody on press. Everybody next to me anyway on press row had to score the same. Had to score similar. They all had Chocolatito winning.
Roman should get his revenge when Superfly happens.
I don't know, man. I tell you what, he should, but you know what? He hasn't looked good since he's moved up in weight. He hasn't looked good at all.
No,
so,
I know that.
I hope he does.
I'm very well aware of that. But
I hope he does. But you know who ain't gonna look good anyway, son. That's who ain't gonna look good.
I got two other fighters I want to talk about real quick. Then I'm getting off. I just want to talk about. Did y'all hear about the Wilder and Romain Stavern?
I heard that Stavern took some step aside money. Yeah, he
would not take.
Yeah, he took it.
Romain Stavern said, come hell or high water, he was not going to take the step aside money.
Yeah.
And what the fuck does he do?
Everybody says that until you get offered a briefcase full of money, son, and then you're taking it.
Money talks, man. Money talks. So I'm glad he took stepped aside because I don't want to see him.
Nobody
back
wants
in
to
the
see
ring,
that fight.
Man.
Nobody wants to see that fight.
They're saying that Romain Stavern's scheduled to fight Brazil. Do you think he can win that fight?
No, I think Dominic Brazil wins.
I don't know. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. I don't think. I think it's a good fight, man. I think it's a toss up, honestly.
I would pick Brazil.
Yeah,
I would pick Brazil.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
it's
pick Brazil though.
I don't think it's a clear. I don't think. I think it's a toss up fight, man. I really do.
Well, I'm kind of biased. I just want to see Romain Stavern out of the ring.
He's got the nicest things to say about you too. The nicest things.
He's the number one contender for the WBC championship.
Yeah, who the hell did he beat to get there?
Come on, Robbie.
Hey, Corey.
Who the hell did he beat to get there? Come on. That's Don King at his finest. Give me a break.
Hey, Corey.
Don King's last heavyweight promotion.
Hey, Corey. This is a direct quote from the chat. Corey should not have his own show.
That's right. There you go.
All right, Corey, we gotta get rolling, man. We gotta get going here.
We gotta get moving, man.
All right, man. Don't be a stranger, man. Call back in.
What I want to tell y'all is that the last before I leave, I want to tell y'all, man, I love the show. Keep doing what y'all is doing, man.
90 seconds.
Man, I took a hiatus, man, but you still owe me that bet, man, and hopefully I can, get some of that money from you soon, man. Nice talking to y'all, man.
All right. See you later, man.
In the chat, another direct quote: Corey sucks is next.
There you go. All right.
That's great. All right. This is legendary boxer in the chat. 706, you're live.
What's going on, Eric? Thanks for going to me next, brother.
What's up, man?
What's up?
What's up, Robbie Lampley? How you been, brother?
Robbie Lampley.
Yeah, it's all right.
That's awesome.
Because I watch HBO don't mean I'm a fan of,
Could be better. Could be worse, though. Could be Robbie Malignaggi. So there you go.
Oh, my God. No.
Could be Robbie Merchant.
That's right. Yeah, that's even worse.
Well, hey, at least I'm not Robbie Kellerman, so there you go.
Yeah, he said he would land one punch. He was like, my opponent would probably land like a couple of punches to the body. He kept saying that for weeks. I think he was told by HBO to say that so they could like
10 seconds.
the bar for whatever. They want people to buy that shit. They were purposely saying that over and over again. He won't land one punch.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's on your mind, man?
You guys watched that Triana Johnson? Just replayed again on Fox Sports 2. That was a pretty damn good fight.
Yeah, I watched that on Friday, man. That was a good fight. That was.
I kind of feel bad for Johnson, man. He doesn't look like he should be taking any more punishment. He should probably stop fighting for a while.
Yeah, I think so too.
I agree. Time to leave. Boy,
Go ahead.
It's time for a lot of boxers to leave here lately.
Yeah, Bradley left at the perfect time, I thought.
I think so too. I think so too. Yeah, he. A lot of people thought he had something left, and I just, I'm glad he's gone. I think he bowed out. I've
noticed Daniel Jacobs since the GGG fight. He's been slurring his words kind of. His words don't sometimes add up, or like it's kind of hard for him to put some words together. I've noticed that.
Really? He was on there last night, and I didn't really notice that. But yeah, but
like little subtle in the middle.
Eric. No, yesterday was the first day I heard him on the Fox part of the broadcast, and he did not sound good. I think Triple G gave him more of a beating than what we realized.
Wow.
Some little words that just don't when he tries to say them, they don't like make sense. They just like it just goes somewhere else. But it didn't sound like that before the GGG fight. Definitely not. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, man, Tank Davis. I mean, he had problems making weight even in England. I think he's killing them. So they said that barbershop conversation guy, because he had backstage access. He said he was working out for like 2 hours backstage trying to make weight. So he was trying. It's not like he didn't even try. And Mikey Garcia said on ES News, he was trying to defend him when he said, I almost died trying to make weight against Rocky Martinez, but I had to move up. That's what it is. Who gives a fuck? You can win any fight. You can win titles again. So, and I was just looking at his record. He's got like 11 straight fucking KOs. So I don't really understand what this fame get into his head. How is that possible when he's got 11 straight KOs? What's he doing so bad?
Well, I think the rumors,
as we've noticed, when certain people get titles, they don't know how to handle the responsibility. I hate to bring this name up, but look at Tyson Fury. He's a perfect example. He beat Vladimir Klitschko, and all the fame and celebrity went to his head, and he wound up basically costing himself the rest of his career.
Isn't Tank still growing though? Kind of. I'm sure he's 135 is probably where he's going to settle, and his body probably can't make it if he's going to 135. I don't really mind him like losing it if he tried to make it. I don't really.
I always hated that argument though.
135 and then next year.
You know what? I always hated that argument though. Your body is not growing. Once you're 18, you're fully grown. It's not like you're going to 20 and 30. You're fully grown. If you can't make that weight, then there's something there that you can't make the weight. And it could be that they just started him too low anyway. Could be, he's way out of his natural weight anyway, so it's just going to be difficult for him to make. The rumors we heard about Tank Davis, we've heard, and again, we've heard them all week, that he's out there partying. You heard it from multiple sources that he's out there partying. He's not training.
Those are imaginary, fake rumors that people want to spread.
You know what?
How would anybody
that's possible.
How would they know? Out of here.
But that's possible though. But his performance and the fact that he couldn't make weight kind of indicate that it could be true.
They see two pictures of him with Drake, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's partying now."
but would you not agree though that the fact that he couldn't make weight in his performance, that could indicate that he could have been, not maybe taking this as seriously as he could have been.
Yeah, I want him to be at 130. That would be the best weight for him. Kind of sucks that he can't because he's small as shit, and I think he's small, and he's probably getting fat. He's eating better, probably. He's got a lot of money now, so
he moves up, and he's got to fight Robert Easter.
If it happens at 135. If it happens at 135, I think he could beat Robert Easter because Robert Easter doesn't look good to me ever. Like he looks.
Robert Easter's the man, boy. He's Ohio's own. What are you talking about?
What do you think? What do you think about Tank versus Robert Easter, Beeb? What do you think?
I think it's a tough fight, man. But Easter definitely has the size and he can box a little bit. But I don't know. That's a tough fight, man. That's a tough fight.
Who's that little guy he almost lost to?
Jason, keep one thing in mind. Robert Easter is 5'11". Who's he really going to have trouble with at that? Because he's bigger than anybody else he fights at that weight class.
Murders everybody.
How tall is Pedraza? How tall was Pedraza?
I don't know. How tall? I don't know.
He's about 5'10" too. Yeah, he's tall too.
But and this Mexican kid last night, he's fucking tougher than Pedraza and Wallace combined, pretty much. That guy's tough as hell.
Yeah,
Ray Vargas. No, I was impressed with him, and he's not going to stay at 122 very long because I don't see how he's there now. My God.
No, I'm talking
Robert Easter though.
Last night, he was tougher than Pedraza.
Oh,
Robert Easter did have his hands full with Comey and Denis Shafikov. So those guys aren't the biggest guys in the world either. So I give Tank a shot.
Robert Easter had his hands full with Comey and Shafikov. He beat both of them handily. What fight were you watching, Beeb? Come on, that was both of those fights were shutouts. Robert Easter, son, he's from Ohio, son.
I scored that Shafikov fight a draw.
Come on, a draw.
Here we go.
Come on, this is Ohio, baby.
Who do you think you are, Adelaide Bird now?
More like CJ Ross.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, I just noticed Showtime just put a video of Floyd out just in the ring, right? He turns around and you can see fucking lumps behind his ears on both sides, like from all the fucking rabbit punches. That is fucked up how Robert Bird just allowed at least fucking 20 rabbit punches on him last night. No one is fucking even mentioning it. What's up with that? How come no one mentions that?
Well, I think that, like I said, I mean, he with the hammer fist, I think he let it go. I think he did a good job. I really do. I think that he let him fight. I think that he cautioned him when he needs to. Both guys got cautioned.
Not even stopping the fight once to tell him to stop hitting behind the head. That's kind of fucked up. That's how fighters die, by hitting behind the head.
He did stop the fight. He did stop the fight. He stopped the action. Not to mention, he goes over there and what about Mayweather turning around, just like in the middle of the fight, just turning around for no apparent reason after he got hit. I mean, come on, man.
He's 170 pounds. He's turning Floyd around. Floyd wasn't turning around himself. So he was like fucking holding Floyd's waist and turning him around there. Come on.
No.
That guy's huge.
He was big.
Conor was like
big guy. He was a big guy, that's for sure.
But Floyd kind of reminded me of the fight with Shambe Mitchell and Judah. He just used the exact same game plan from the first or second round, just walking to him straight up.
Yeah, it was good.
Exactly,
I mean,
those same fights.
I thought it was a good fight. I mean, overall, like I said, man, I thought it was a good fight overall. I thought Conor made a good account of himself, and I thought that, Floyd did what he had to do. Floyd, would you like to see Floyd fight again? Do you think he could beat any top contender out there?
I don't think so. And he said he didn't spar for the last month. I wonder if that's true or not, if he's just saying that because he didn't look the best. I wonder if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know.
He said he was injured. He didn't spar for the last month. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of.
If that's true, maybe, but I don't think he will. He doesn't need to. Who's he going to fight? Unless it's a Conor or Manny rematch. Those are the only two fights for him, probably.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, really, that's it. I mean, he couldn't. I don't think he could hang with any of the like a Terrence Crawford. I don't think he could hang with an Errol Spence or even Kell Brook
Eric,
would give him the business.
This is a crazy idea, but if people really want to see Floyd fight again, what about Jeff Horn?
Danny Garcia's better fight than that. I think he would beat Danny Garcia.
From what you guys are talking about, granted, I didn't see this, but from the way you guys are talking, it's almost like Floyd got old overnight. Okay,
Jeff Horn beats Floyd.
How about a no name like Horn? Could Horn damage Mayweather?
Yeah, Jeff Horn
Floyd didn't respect Conor's power at all. He wasn't turning his punches. That's why he was just fucking throwing straight ass punches. No, he wasn't turning him right. That's why Floyd didn't really feel the sting. I don't think, except the uppercut. That was kind of a good uppercut. I was impressed by that.
So here's a big question: is there an asterisk by number 50? Should he have broken Marciano's record with this?
No, because just like Max Kellerman said, Floyd Patterson fought somebody that had a fucking pro debut, and Marciano fought like some of the worst bums you could even think of in his fucking career. So why would there be asterisk?
Oh, all right. I don't know.
And Floyd fought in like 25 title fights. Marciano fought in like maybe 5, I think, title fights.
Yeah, Teddy Atlas loves to throw the name Joe Louis out there, but does he remember when Joe Louis fought 2-ton Tony Galento? No, people
they called it the bum of the month. Remember with Joe Louis is the bum.
Oh yeah,
yeah, remember that?
Oh yeah, come on,
right.
Yeah, because remember he would always he'd always talk about that, fighting bums of the month,
Yeah.
I think Floyd fighting in 20 title fights is way more impressive than 49-0 to me, if it is at least, because Marciano only fought in 6 title fights. So Floyd puts that to shame.
He also died in a plane crash. Just saying,
What?
He died in a plane crash.
Oh, God. Yeah, I didn't really know that.
Yeah, no.
He retired? But he was retired. But wasn't he retired, or he was talking about fighting? Was he retired at the time when he died?
Yeah,
He was retired, but he was talking about coming back.
He was going to fight Ali. Yeah, he was talking about fighting Ali. Yeah.
Talking about coming back.
that's
He died
correct.
on 31, right? He died 31.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in his
Yeah,
30s.
so how many title fights could he have had if at the age of 31 he only had 5? What, 2 more?
Yeah, but it's different day and age. I mean, different day and age, but you got to think about it. He was the champ. He was the champ. There was nobody else. He was the guy. Floyd, there was 50 other belts in his class. He was taking out.
I'm also comparing his skills. His skills are
back when they were talking about that fight. That's when Ali was suspended, and Marciano was going to put that fight together
Right,
and get Muhammad Ali suspension lifted.
That's because that's when they did that. Remember, they did the computer fight. They did that computer fight and everything. Emmanuel Marino brings up a good point in the chat. He says, "Why doesn't Chavez Sr. get credit for 80-0 or 89-0 before he lost to Frankie Randall?"
It was 89-0 before he lost.
Yeah, before he lost to Frankie Randall.
Sports Center gave him credit last night.
He should. I mean, they should. But I think the thing is because he's retired undefeated. I think that's kind of the.
Yeah, see that's.
I think Chavez's record honestly is way more impressive at 89-0. Even I mean, you're talking about 100 fights. The guy retired with over 100 fights. To me, that's way more impressive than 50-0. It just is.
That is correct. 15-0 is going to be nothing in like 20 years.
But you take Chavez's record too and dissect it. He fought a lot of guys that were, that he probably shouldn't have been fighting, but he fought them in Mexico as like more exhibition type fights, like 6-rounders or whatever. And they weren't televised and all that other good stuff. So it goes back and forth, but his record's a little padded too.
Yep.
Did you guys see Darth Vader, aka Heyman, backstage last night?
I did. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
He made sure to be there for his 50th fight. He's not. He was just chilling on the couch.
Yeah, you don't see him often, that's for sure.
And meanwhile, Manny's making $5 million on ESPN. You think that? Can you believe that shit?
That's crazy. Yeah, they just signed a deal. Top Rank and ESPN just signed a multi-fight deal. They'll do 18 shows in the first year. Top Rank and Top Rank.
Totally moosed off the fucking foundation that PBC built all over the network televisions. That's kind of fucked up to me. Without PBC, they would not have this deal that fucking quick. Without PBC showing them that all these ratings are possible.
Yeah,
that's for a fact.
I think you might have something there. You might have something there. But PBC again, let that go. But they were buying time. Was that right? They were buying. Robbie, maybe you know this too. Were they buying? They were buying time on ESPN, and they just
the PBC deal, guys. They were buying time on all.
Yeah, they were time buys. Yeah,
they had to. They had to because they had to because they were the first ones there. Nobody was giving a fuck about boxing before PBC came and broke down the fucking barriers. Like nobody gives a shit about boxing on NBC. Fox. Nobody cares.
Well, my only complaint about PBC is their fighters don't fight often enough.
We'll see who's Lomachenko fighting next. Rigo?
Well,
yeah, Rigo. I'm hearing Rigo on December 1st or 2nd. Yeah,
yet, but it looks like it's going to be rigging Diao.
Yeah, and it's not official yet, but it's as close to official as you can get without it being official. And that TV deal includes like pay-per-views as well, so they'll still be doing pay-per-views. So I imagine there'll be ESPN pay-per-views.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, ESPN pay-per-views. Yep.
Yeah. So can you imagine like the hype train that's going to go through that? Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
Oh, can you imagine?
Who are they going
Can you imagine Teddy Atlas on pay-per-view? Oh my God!
Got to pay for Teddy, man. You got to pay for him. Fireman, son. Got to pay for him, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you want to hear Teddy? You're gonna have to pay.
They don't.
Right.
But they don't really have any pay-per-view guys. Who do they have that people are going to want to pay pay-per-view prices for?
Well, it depends.
They probably have to develop people.
Yeah.
Jason, I bet you that's going to,
Terrence Crawford is right there, but you wonder.
How are they going to?
You wonder about that because his last pay-per-view tanked. Crawford's last pay-per-view tanked. Lomachenko is probably the most popular one out of that stable. I mean, he really is. He's probably the most well-known and popular one out of that stable right now. And he's at a weight class right now where he's not getting a whole lot.
No, he's not. How is he more? How is Lomachenko more popular than Crawford when he only sells like 4,000 tickets and his ratings are shit compared to Crawford?
I'll tell you why. Because more people know him than know Crawford. That's why. You go out in Nebraska, nobody knows Terrence
him
Crawford.
Because his name, just because his name is catchy and it's been ringing out on ESPN for like a month. And
right. That's why he's more
went
popular.
Out of his way to compare him to Ali and said Crawford. Right.
He's more popular.
Kid is improving, but when he talks about Loma, he's like, that's fucked up.
But that's why he's more popular. We're talking about popularity, not necessarily better skills or whatever the
It
case.
took like a
but-
month. They could do that. They could do that to Crawford in a month if they really wanted to. But they're gonna keep him on a fucking leash like they did Bradley all those years. That's how they fucking treat black fighters, because black fighters are not gonna be they're not gonna be good little puppets like Russians and Mexicans are. That's you know that. They're not gonna fucking
I disagree.
run
with
around
that.
to your tune like they want them to.
Oh, come
Never.
on, man. You don't want to go there.
Yeah, I
you really
disagree
don't want to
with
go
that.
there, do you?
Go where? Go where?
I mean, do you have to bring race into this whole thing? Give me a break. Come on.
What? That's how they treat black fighters all the time. Black fighters are always second pedigree on top rank, and I like, you don't have to be black to see that shit. I mean, it's obvious.
At top rank.
It's just a fact.
Yeah, but it's not a fact.
Yeah, but
Tim Bradley
wanna go
Bradley
there,
shouldn't have been a big star. Tim Bradley was not big star quality. Manny Pacquiao was the star at that
Tim
point.
Bradley was
Tim Bradley was not.
Tim Bradley could have been a way bigger star.
If he could fight better, yeah, I agree
Broner
with
is
you.
10 times bigger star. Broner is a 10 times bigger star than Bradley.
Broner's a 10 times bigger star because he has charisma. Bradley has no charisma. He needs a personality transplant. He doesn't have any charisma. That's why he was not a bigger star.
When did they ever promote Bradley on like black like outlets and stuff? You know, like Hot 97, all this shit. Like Heyman and
what is Bradley doing to promote himself?
Doing.
I mean, that's Heyman though, but that's not really. That's not just because Top Rank can't promote. That's not really his fault. It's his fault for staying with him.
No, they can promote. No, they can promote. It just seems like they don't, unless they can control you fully, like they control Loma with the Aegis Klimas guy. They control. They don't. Loma doesn't go against Top Rank ever. He will never say anything against them, just like Manny.
Why should
That's
he
why
though?
He's getting that push.
But why should he though? But don't you think though? But
like that, he would.
But don't you think though? Don't you think though? If you badmouth your promoter, if you badmouth, why would I put all my money into you if you're badmouthing me on the side? Wouldn't it make sense to be down with your promoter and do everything?
Yeah, but this is probably the first time. This is probably the first time Crawford even said anything about that. He told fans, "I'm glad you guys are noticing how they're promoting Loma and being compared." You know, because that's what I'm saying. Like he said, he's comparing Loma to Ali in 9 fights, and when Crawford fucking humiliates fucking Ndongo, he said, "Listen. When Crawford humiliates fucking Felix Diaz and Ndongo back to back, he says the kid is getting better. What type of fucking shit is that? You're saying kid is getting better, and you're telling a kid with 9 fights he's fucking next Ali? What type? You don't see that?"
You don't see the skill gap. You don't see the skill gap with Lomachenko. You don't see how he. I mean, he's the top one of the top pound for pound fighters in the world.
Crawford would put that fucking bum to sleep. What are you talking about?
I don't know that.
Everybody
don't
knows
know it
Beeb.
either.
Beeb, what would Crawford do to Lomachenko?
Well, Jason, come on.
Beeb.
You're creating a fantasy fight anyway. That
No,
right. They're pound of 10.
Yeah,
what
but
is it? 10 pounds
he wants
different.
Manny. He wants Manny at 140. He wants
Could be 17
Manny
pounds
at 140. So I'm asking Beeb, what would Crawford do to Lomachenko? Please, can you tell us?
I think he would crush him.
I think he would break his fucking face.
Yeah, I think he would crush him.
There's a 17-pound weight difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
17-pound weight difference.
Okay.
And we're talking about skills. We're not talking about
That's the weight difference between Maidana and Mayweather, and Mayweather and Canelo. So
Lomachenko's going to have problems because he's not a big puncher. Lomachenko's going to have problems. He's not a big puncher.
Almost at 130. Come on, get out of here with that.
No, it seems like you guys are kind of ducking the answers I'm asking. If Mayweather can fight,
yeah, I think Garcia handles Lomachenko pretty easily too.
Why can't Lomachenko fight him?
Well, Mayweather made Canelo go down in weight. Remember that.
Right.
Yeah, what, 2 pounds? 2 pounds lower?
Well, you try Mayweather. Clearly, 2 pounds is a big deal. Ask Gervonta Davis how big a deal 2 pounds is.
Yeah, in fight night he was 17 pounds bigger, 16 pounds. So what are we talking about?
But he couldn't make the
here?
2 pounds on the scale, though.
Weight difference?
He couldn't make the 2 pounds on the
Weight
scale,
difference,
right?
right?
Yeah, right. Weight difference. He couldn't make the 2 pounds on the scale, right? So apparently, it is a big deal.
Did he make Maidana come down to his unnatural weight or something?
No, Madonna was 147, man.
Yeah, and he was almost 170 on fight night, 167.
Well,
so what does that have to do with
fighters
anything?
do that all the time.
Right.
What have you been watching, man?
Yeah, but you're saying that Crawford is too big for Loma, but how are these guys not big for Mayweather? What the fuck?
You're talking about fight.
They're not ever going to put Lomachenko in against Crawford. Are you nuts?
That's like saying,
yeah, but you guys said. I'm just saying he's going to break. I'm just saying he would destroy him. You guys know that. That's why you're so fucking fearing.
He's 17 pounds heavier. I'm talking about skill gaps I'm talking about skill, not matchups. Even if they matched up, Crawford's moved up to 147. That's 17 pounds difference.
I'm talking about at 140.
That won't ever happen because they're going to move Crawford up, man.
Right. There is no 140 for Crawford.
Because Lomachenko would get destroyed and sent back to Ukraine. That's why it won't. Beeb, can you elaborate on this? Because I think these guys are filibustering you. They don't want you to speak. Go ahead.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're filibustering Beeb.
I'm trying to watch Game of Thrones here, baby. Come on, you're killing me. What's the question? What's the question, Jason? Tell me.
Go ahead.
What's the question?
No, tell me about the Crawford and Loma if that happened. At 140, what would happen? Like
I think Crawford would handle him very, very soundly. That's just I think Mikey Garcia beats him too. I like Loma. I'm not sold on him. He's not a big puncher. And I still have not seen him in there with a physical guy like Salido. I think the guy can be manhandled too. That's just my opinion. I think Garcia beats him. I think Crawford beats him. I think Rigal is a little bit past it, and he's kind of small right now and hasn't been incredibly active. I would favor him against Rigondeaux now slightly, but a couple of years ago,
that's a solid fight.
Still a solid fight. I don't think it's a given that he even beats Rigondeaux.
I don't think so either. That's a solid.
But it's not a given. If I got good odds, I would place a little bet on Rigondeaux if I got good odds. I think it's still pretty much a 50-50 fight somewhat.
I'll probably give Loma the Mikey Garcia fight, but Crawford, there's no way. Mikey Garcia, I'm not sure about him against Loma, but Crawford,
No, I think Mike Garcia beat him.
I mean,
especially given the fact that Crawford outweighs him by 17 pounds.
Yeah, like Canelo outweighed Floyd, and Maidana outweighed Floyd, and Conor outweighed Floyd.
You're talking about
20 pounds almost.
Fight
like
night.
Oscar outweighed Floyd by almost 20 pounds with 154.
Did you know, like, before the fight?
You're talking about weights on fight night,
did you know that
when they weigh in, man?
Yeah, you know they get on the scale before they fight, right?
It's pretty much the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
You're smarter.
Even close.
Get out of here, Will.
Dude, Floyd is a natural 140 pounder, and he's fighting guys that are 167, and you guys are talking about Loma being too small for Crawford. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, you know that they step on the scale before the fight, right? Not like fight night. Those are different weights. Those are different things.
Floyd's a blown up 147 pounder. You know that.
Okay.
He's not. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he's fighting guys and he's fighting guys like Maidana and Canelo. They're like 154 and 164 pounders in reality, but they're shrinking down to. So I don't really see the difference between Crawford and Loma. That's not that much of a side difference to me. If Mayweather can do it,
there's only 17 pounds.
He should be able to.
That's not a lot. Just 17.
I don't think. If on fight night, if Mayweather can do it, sure, so should Loma. And Mayweather did it at the age of 36, 37, 38.
Yeah, you know that, like.
That great, why not? That's what I'm saying. If Loma's that great, if he's the next Ali, why not?
Okay, so you know that on
People
fight night,
they're
they're not 17 pounds different, right? You do know that, right? Just because Conor weighed 170 last night, you know there wasn't, Floyd gained some weight too. He's allowed to gain weight after the weigh-in too, right?
He was 149 at the weigh-in, and how much do you think he could weigh?
Right, but you know at the weigh-in, right? But you know at the weigh-in, Conor was not 170, right?
Yeah. What is it? They didn't fight at their weigh-in weight.
Right, but that's your point.
What does that have to do with anything?
You were the one bringing this up. That's your point.
No, that's not my point. I'm saying if Mayweather can fight guys that are that heavy on fight night, Crawford, Loma should be able to do it if he's as good as Ali. That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to make a point.
Well, that whole comparison is ridiculous. Okay.
No, all these people are calling him the next best thing since sliced bread, and he's Ali this, he's Ali that.
I've never called him the next Ali. There is no Ali.
I'm just trying to expose the new agenda here by calling Loma the greatest ever. That's all. I'm not like trying to go against you guys. I'm just saying.
Well, he's not the greatest ever. He's a good fighter, but there's only one greatest, man.
There you go.
Who is it?
Floyd.
Is it Ali? No, I don't even call Floyd the greatest. I don't call him that shit.
TBE, son.
He's probably one of the best in my generation. But.
TBE. Actually, Terrence Crawford is TBE. He beat Julius Ndongo. Lineal TBE right there.
These days he is.
He's a lineal TBE. He beat Julius Ndongo.
If Canelo beats GGG and he beats Charlo, I'll give him number one pound for pound too. For sure.
Yeah, I think if he beats Triple G, I think you got to give it to him. Yeah. All right, man. We're gonna get running.
Yeah, you should.
We got one more call left, and
All right, guys.
all right, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. We got one more call left. 312. You're live.
Fight Doctor in the house. What's going on, gentlemen?
Fight Doctor.
Fight
What's
Doctor,
happening?
What's up?
And from the sound of things, I've called at just the right time to restore decency, credibility, and common sense back to the Ringside Reporter. Okay?
I love it. I love it.
Now, look,
This is why we have you on.
That's what we were trying to do, Fight Doctor, but obviously we didn't do a good enough job.
We
with
need
that.
Fight
Anyway,
Doctor.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm just going to come out and say it, okay? Lomachenko is overrated. Way overrated. The comparison to Ali, totally and completely out of line. Totally and completely unwarranted.
Absolutely.
Okay? And the reason why you won't see Lomachenko versus Mikey Garcia or Terrence Crawford is because Top Rank is going to do the same thing with Lomachenko that they did with Manny Pacquiao, that they did with Oscar De La Hoya, which is they are going to protect him. Period. Point blank. End of story. Mikey Garcia beats the brakes off of Lomachenko. Terrence Crawford ends his career. And I'm not exaggerating. Terrence Crawford would beat his ass so bad that his relatives back in the Ukraine would feel that ass whooping, okay?
Well,
he would end his career.
The point we were trying to make to the last caller is that fight would never happen anyway because Crawford's going to move up in weight.
17 pounds.
Oh, well, here's the deal. Well, listen, here's the deal, okay? I think that if there was some interest on Lomachenko's part in making that fight, I'm sure Terrence Crawford will be more than happy to delay his move up to 147 pounds to hand Lomachenko an ass whooping. But listen, Team Lomachenko, they want no parts of Terrence Crawford. Trust and believe. They want no parts, okay? They will pick on a 122-pounder. They'll move up. Look, they'll have a guy move up 2 weight classes to fight them, but they won't move up 2 weight classes to fight Terrence Crawford.
It's a very good fight, by the way.
They want none of that business, okay? But I'm telling you straight up.
Yeah.
Bob Arum don't want it. Team Lomachenko don't want it. Lomachenko's family in the Ukraine, they don't want it. Nobody wants the Crawford business on Team Lomachenko. Trust. They don't want that business, okay? Especially after what happened 2 weeks ago, okay? Yeah, no. Terrence Crawford is all wrong. All wrong. And listen, all of this pound for pound #1 talk, Tebi Atlas needs to stop with the heroin and the crack, okay? Having Vasily Lomachenko as your pound for pound #1, frankly, is offensive. It's offensive to boxing fans. It's offensive to serious boxing fans.
Fight
okay?
Doctor, I have never bought into the whole pound for pound crap anyway. But if you're going to have a guy there at #1, if the list is going to exist, it's going to be Andre Ward.
Well, naturally, Andre Ward, okay? #1 pound for pound, period, end of story. Lomachenko doesn't even make the top 10. Seriously. I mean, let's talk about the guy. Who has he beaten? What has he done? Gary Russell is the best name on his resume, okay? I can think of a lot of guys who have beaten better fighters than Gary Russell. Canelo Alvarez, okay? Look at his resume. Look at his resume. And tell me, I mean, honestly, he has Erislandy Lara, Austin Trout, Miguel Cotto. All of those guys are better victories than Gary Russell Jr. And besides that, guess what else Lomachenko has on his resume? A loss. A loss.
To Orlando Salido.
A loss.
Yep. Orlando
to
Salido.
The lowly Orlando Salido. Come the fuck on. I mean, really, people, this guy is overrated. I'm telling you, he's overrated. Look, when they put somebody for real in front of that guy, now we're gonna see what he's made of. Okay, and we're gonna see the Orlando Salido fight all over again. Except this time there'll be no excuses because the Lomachenko crowd have been making all types of excuses. Oh well, Lomachenko didn't make the weight, and he was this and he was that. Come the fuck on. I mean,
well,
seriously.
fight doctor, you're a good boxing guy. Who do you think that person will be that they'll put Lomachenko in against?
Rigo. I'm picking Rigo in that fight.
I tell you what, I don't hate that.
Rigo.
I don't hate that. I like Rigo a lot, man. Rigo's very good. Rigo's very underrated. I don't know why everybody dumps on Rigo. They call him a boring fighter and everything. Let me tell you what, you can't hit that guy. You can't even come close. You can't touch that guy. And trust me, for the Lomo fight, he's not going to be offensive minded. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a solid fight for Rigo. I think you might be right. I don't know, but that's a good fight.
I'm picking Rigo in that fight. Okay.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick
for a lot of reasons. Okay, and listen, Rigo. For one, Rigo's the better fighter. All right, let's just get the shit out in the open. Rigo is the better fighter. Rigondeaux does not lose to Orlando Solio types. He just doesn't. Okay, been there, done that. Yeah, I'm picking Rigo in that fight. This is cherry pick gone wrong. This is essentially Manny Pacquiao, Juan Manuel Marquez, cherry pick gone bad. Number 4 fight, cherry pick gone bad. Okay, that's what this is. All right. You know, finally the Rigo hype train will be derailed, exposed yet again. Except this time there'll be no excuses about the weight. Oh well, the guy, he was 2 pounds overweight. No, there'll be none of that shit. Okay. Okay, because now you got a guy coming up 2 weight classes to hand you your second loss. And then that will be it. And then we won't have to hear about this guy anymore, hopefully. Okay? But yeah, Lomachenko, way overrated. Okay? Having him on the pound-for-pound top 10 is, number one, is really completely offensive. But pound-for-pound, period. I mean, it's crazy. And listen, Ringside Robbie, I love you. I really do. But come on, man. Let's not pretend as if race does not play a part in boxing politics, because it does. Okay?
That was not my point, fight doctor. I didn't like the idea that the caller decided to go there. We can do a show without having to go there.
It was kind of a silly point that he made, though. I think it was kind of a silly point that he made, though, when he brought it into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's. I mean, I agree. It does exist. I think it does exist for sure. I think you're kind of silly to not think it exists. I think it absolutely exists.
No, I know it. I know it exists.
Crawford's
there,
problem
was we didn't need to have that.
I agree with that. I think Crawford's problem with Top Rank, as he alluded to earlier, he says that they're not promoting him because he's black and they're promoting Lomo because he's white. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think Terrence Crawford's attitude has more to do with it. The fact that he was busted, for going in there and breaking up that chop shop or whatever, where he got his car and he, took it off the gurney or whatever it was, or, he ended up wrecking a bunch of stuff. Stay out of trouble. Can
I ask you,
mom, he's got his baby's mom on there fighting on TV and stuff. Stay out of trouble. I can't promote that. If I'm a promoter, I cannot promote that. But I can promote Lomachenko, who's clean cut and everything like that, doesn't break the law. I can promote that. That's what I.
Can I jump in real quick? I'm so sorry. I have to get this in. Why is Adrian Broner more popular than Terrence Crawford? And I'll tell you why. And this kind of speaks to what Fight Doctor was saying. And I hate saying this, and I hate getting involved in this, but you know what? I think the problem is every time an African American has to be popular, for an African American to be popular, he has to talk shit. He has to be controversial. He can't be the nice guy. Look at Adrian Broner. He talks shit. He's controversial. He has a lot of, demons in his outside life. So he's more popular because of that than Terrence Crawford. Why is it okay for someone like Lomachenko to be that nice guy? And Terrence Crawford, yeah, he had that incident, whatever, but he's not outspoken. He's kind of a humble guy. He's one of the cool, calm, collective, quiet personalities. Andre Ward, same thing. Why does an African-American fighter have to be like Adrian Broner to be popular, have to be like Floyd Mayweather to be popular? And on the other side of things, you have these Eastern Europeans that could come over like Gennady Golovkin and Lomachenko, right? And, they get that push. They get a different type of treatment. They don't have to play the bad guy role. They don't have to be controversial. there is some type of truth to that, and I have to agree with Fight Doctor. And I'm sorry, this is my opinion from my own vantage point. I think it's a valid argument. It really is.
What is a valid argument, though?
Can I add,
that for an African American to cross over, he has to be controversial, has to be TMZ-like, has to have that controversial streak to him. Whereas these Eastern Europe, Manny Pacquiao, for instance, he was marketed as being God-fearing, the religious guy, and he had more skeletons in his closet than Adrian Broner. He did more crazy things than Adrian Broner. He was a drug addict. He was a womanizer. A lot of things he did wrong. He's a bad gambler, a habitual gambler. He had got a prostitute pregnant that gets swept under the rug. But TMZ is right there, willing, ready, and able to show something about Floyd Mayweather, to show something about Adrian Broner. Where's TMZ with Manny Pacquiao's past? That's the thing. I have to be honest about this.
Yeah, but you know what? That has nothing to do with Terrence Crawford. And Meaningful in the chat just brought up a great point, and he says that Terrence Crawford denies a lot of interviews, and he's right. He's right. He doesn't talk to the press in Nebraska. He doesn't. He shunned a lot of those guys. Okay, he doesn't give interviews. So in order to get popular, you have got to get your name out there. You've got to give interviews. You've got to get all this stuff. Now, I agree with you in a sense, Beeb, that the people that get out there, but I don't think it's mandatory that you have to be, on what is that the crazy station where Adrian Bronner's on. He's got all the videos or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, this is 50 or something like that.
I don't know. It's one of those things, or like hip hop. I don't know. It's one of those. I don't know. But it's one of those things. So he goes in there and he talks trash. But he got that from Floyd, and Floyd talks trash. So they all copy the same thing. It doesn't mean that you have to look at Roy Jones. Roy Jones never talked trash. He wasn't like real flamboyant. He was the best fighter in the world. He got a ton of press, and he didn't act like that. It's the way these guys act. These guys take the carbon copy. They take the blueprint. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want just a point that I wanted to add on to what Beeb was saying. Beeb made an excellent point. But let's just compare and contrast two fighters, okay? Real quick. Vasily Lomachenko and Tim Bradley, okay? Now, Tim Bradley and Vasily Lomachenko, both clean cuts. Okay, if you look at Timmy Bradley, the man is a family man, never committed any crimes, involved in his community, a businessman. He's done everything right. That's in addition to being an excellent fighter. The man's resume at 147 at 140 is outstanding. Okay, it is clean cut, family man, does everything right. Vasily Lomachenko, okay? This man doesn't even speak English. Now, answer me this question. Both of them are promoted by Top Rank. So please, somebody tell me, why is it that Top Rank can promote Vasily Lomachenko better and to a higher degree than they were able to do for Tim Bradley? Can somebody tell me why?
100% yes.
I mean, if you look at the two of them.
100% yes.
If you look at the two of them, okay, so somebody tell me, like, what happened there? Why is it that Vasily Lomachenko is getting this push from Top Rank from HBO, but the same thing didn't exist for Tim Bradley?
I'll tell you why.
And Tim Bradley is not. Okay, please tell me, because I mean, if it's a question of who has more personality or who has more what's the word for? Who has more marketability, then I kind of think they have to be equal in it, or the same or close in that department, because again, Vasily Lomachenko doesn't even speak English. Okay, so yeah, please, if somebody wants to answer that question, I'm all in.
100%. You know why Vasily Lomachenko is promoted so well? Two things. Number one, he stays out of trouble. You don't hear his name on TMZ or anything like that, or you don't hear him, in trouble, breaking things down and, robbing people or anything like that. The other thing, you know why he's so effective? Because he's got people to speak for him, and they know what to say. That's the thing. He doesn't speak English, and you think that's a detriment. It's not, especially for the Ukrainian fighters. It's not a detriment at all because they have people speaking for them. He doesn't know what they're saying. Who cares if he knows it or they don't know? He talks through them. They talk for him. They know what to say.
So the people who speak for him are his promoter, Top Rank. So again, my question remains unanswered because everything that you say about Vasily Lomachenko, you can apply that to Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley you never heard anything negative about Tim Bradley. You never heard about him having extramarital affairs or, babies out of wedlock or getting arrested or beating somebody up on the street. All of the Mayweather, Adrian Broner shit, that doesn't apply to Tim Bradley. Okay, you never heard about anything negative about him outside of the boxing ring. Okay, you never heard anything negative about him. Period. So,
but I've never heard anything exciting for him outside of the boxing ring. Nothing that really makes me want to tune in. And there's really no explanation to it. There really isn't. It's not a promotional thing.
Well, yeah, but
let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you why it's not a promotional thing. Right, but I'm going to tell you why it's not a promotional thing. And I can equate this to say the WWE. Let's just equate it for professional wrestling here for a minute. Everybody on their roster, don't you think they, name a big time wrestler, The Rock or somebody like that, or just let's take everybody knows who The Rock is, right? Everybody knows. Right. Okay, everybody knows he's a household name, yeah. All right, so he's a wrestler. Don't you think the WWE would like to get everybody to that status? Everybody, and they control those guys. They're promoters. That's what they do. They're professional promoters. They would love to get everybody to that status, but you know what? They can't. And the thing is, sometimes it's just inexplainable. It doesn't mean you have to talk trash. Look, Adrian Broner talks trash. Where did he get him? He's not very, he's not making billions or, whatever, he's not, he's done now. That's it. I mean, he lost the fight against Garcia. He's still got to go out there and perform. The WWE, they can make you win. They can make you lose. They can put you on top and bottom. The thing is, they're the promoters and they would like everybody to be as big as The Rock, but not everybody can be. There's no magic potion to determine why somebody is going to be popular, why this guy is popular, and why this guy is not popular. You know what I mean? There's no, because if
actually,
there was.
Yes, there is.
There's not, because if there was.
Yes, there is.
Go ahead, go.
And I can tell you why there's this marketing push from HBO and Top Rank behind Lomachenko and not a guy like Terrence Crawford or Tim Bradley. I can tell you why. And you're not going to like the answer.
Sure. Go ahead.
It's true. Race. The simple fact of the matter is race.
Do you think so, though?
Lomachenko is a white man.
But do you think so, though? But do you think so?
I'm sorry, but
do you think, though? Let me ask you this.
I'm sorry.
If Bob Arum could make more money with Terrence Crawford than he could with Lomachenko, don't you think he'd be doing it? I mean, why would just let's think rational here for a minute. And I'm not saying that race doesn't exist in boxing. We know it does. But let's just ask yourself this. If you're Bob Arum, what do you care about? Money. That's the only thing.
You care about the bottom line.
Right.
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 And listen,
and so
you're preaching to the choir.
Right.
Okay?
Right. Okay, we agree.
That's what I'm telling you.
There's common ground. Okay.
Listen, I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, boxing is a business show.
But Bob Arum still doesn't get it because why did he let Floyd Mayweather go? Why did he let Floyd Mayweather go?
Floyd Mayweather, I believe, for Bob Arum, I believe that Floyd Mayweather was, and I don't know, like I said, man, I'm just purely speculation. But
why can't he learn from his mistakes?
Purely speculation. But if I'm Bob Arum, maybe I cut that guy loose because he's a big pain in the side. You know what I mean? He's too much of a. Sometimes you've got guys that are just too much of a pain to deal with. They're constant criers. Not that Floyd didn't have a reason. Not that Floyd didn't have a reason, but it was he called it a slave. Didn't he call the HBO contract that he got a slave contract? I don't know if he was with Bob Arum at the time or not, or if this was back when
he said that. He said it.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yep.
And he called it a slave contract and this and that. Sometimes you just got to let people go. And Floyd went off. Now, granted, is he kicking himself? Is he kicking himself that he let Floyd go? Yeah, probably. But if Floyd is going to leave, Floyd is going to leave. There's nothing you could do to stop that. And if he's going to buy out his contract, then buy out his contract. But if you got a guy on your roster that just is constantly high maintenance, constantly won't shut up, and is just constantly complaining, and may or may not even be the biggest draw on your roster anyway. Maybe you get rid of him.
Well, I think that proved to be a costly mistake on Bob Arum's part. And then
100%.
I think you kind of contradicting yourself because you, a minute ago you just asked me what was Bob Arum's number one concern. And
sure.
I think we both agree that his number one concern is making money. So I think in retrospect, maybe Bob Arum made a mistake by letting Mayweather go, because Mayweather proved to be the highest earner, not in boxing history, but in the history of sport, period.
Sure. But hindsight is always 20/20 though. Yeah.
So who's looking stupid right about now?
But
Mayweather's cashing $300 million checks, and Bob Arum is on ESPN. So really, honestly, who's the winner here?
Well, no question, it's Mayweather. But we also agree too that Mayweather is going to split from Arum anyway. Arum doesn't have listen, Arum can only go so far to keep him. Mayweather was going to leave Arum anyway, right?
Okay, but then the question needs to be asked. Okay, why did Mayweather leave Arum? And I think we can answer that question by looking at what's going on right now when you compare the media push that's behind a guy like Vasily Lomachenko and the lack of a push behind a guy like Bud Crawford and guys like Tim Bradley. And then you have to ask yourself the question, if I'm Tim Bradley, if I'm Bud Crawford, I'm looking at this thinking, what is really going on, okay? Because let's be honest here, Lomachenko is not worthy to carry Bud Crawford's jockstrap, okay? He's not. He doesn't have the skill level. He doesn't have the resume. He doesn't. And if ever that fight were to be made, Crawford would end his career. So if I'm Crawford, I'm looking at this thinking, this is like totally ass backwards to turn around, because the guy you need to be promoting is me. I'm the guy you need to be promoting because I'm out here making it happen, okay? I'm about to go down in history, okay? I'm putting together an all-time great career. That's what the man is in the process of doing. Meanwhile, you got Lomachenko dragging guys up 2 weight classes and losing to Salido. So come on, people. Do the math, okay? It's not that difficult to see exactly what's going on, okay? This is about race. That's all this is about. Simple fact of the matter is, a guy like Lomachenko is marketable because he is white, and that's it. Arum understands this, HBO understands this, and they feed into this, okay?
That's a
Sorry to be the
valid
bearer
point.
of bad news.
That's a
but
valid
it is
point.
what it is, you know.
It's a very valid point.
And there's one thing, there's 2 things in my opinion that sometimes supersede money. And that's ego, and that's pride, and 3 things, stubbornness. Now, sometimes people get too hard-headed in their ways. When you're the promoter, sometimes you want to call the shots, and you become short-sighted, and you have this young kid telling you what he wants to do, and it's hard for you to accept that maybe this young kid is right.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. Bob Arum wants to make money. Everyone wants to make money, but sometimes people leave money on the table. You know why? Because they can't see the big picture. And it seems like Bob Arum is making the same mistake with Bud Crawford that he made with Floyd Mayweather. Because I can guarantee you this. I have my problems with PBC shelving guys. Mm-hmm. But, when they do fight, they get maximum deals. I think Terrence Crawford, if he was over at PBC, possibly maybe he would get that Adrian Broner fight, because I don't think Al Heyman's looking to protect Adrian Broner anymore. So maybe that would be a huge payday for him. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. People want to talk about, oh, well, Al Heyman has all these fighters. Okay, why can't he make big fights? Well, Bob Arum has Manny Pacquiao. He has Terrence Crawford, and he had Mikey Garcia. Why was Manny Pacquiao shielded from Mikey Garcia, and why is he shielded from Terrence Crawford? Why did Jeff Horn get that fight instead of Terrence Crawford? Why couldn't Terrence Crawford be the guy that got the torch passed to him instead of Jeff Horn? The writing's on the wall here. It really is.
I think so. I think, like I said, Fight Doctor brings up a very valid point. I mean, I think, if you think about it, Lomachenko is a more marketable guy. I mean, he just is. Now whether he's more marketable, period, who knows? But
Eric, if you look at this realistically, I know Lomachenko is more marketable, but look at this realistically.
I don't think he is. The guy can't even speak English. The guy can't even speak English. How can he be more marketable?
That's more marketable than what Lomachenko has accomplished.
I'll tell you why, because again, he has people talking for him and they know what to say and they know how to market him. In fact, you think about it, that's almost the best way to do it. Even if he doesn't speak English, that's almost the best way to do it because they talk for you. They know what to say. This is their business. They know what to say.
Yeah. But but the more I listen, Fight Doctor is right on the money here. Here's a guy that just cleaned out a division, has 4 belts, and boy, he really knows how to bring out the something that probably shouldn't exist, but it does.
Yeah, you know what though? But again, with Terrence Crawford, and we keep going back to Terrence Crawford, the thing is, again, here's a guy who was just, with the lawsuit or whatever, when he broke into that car body shop or whatever. He broke into that.
Yeah, I know.
He's had some issues.
Yeah.
You've got to be clean. You got to be
stuff though. That's not like he went out and assaulted somebody, beat up his girlfriend, got caught with cocaine. And not only that too. Look what Terrence Crawford does when you put him in Nebraska. He sells out that arena all the time. He's a draw. He's a draw there.
Yep.
But he's not a draw anywhere else.
Yep. Doesn't matter.
He's not a draw anywhere else.
Okay,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't have to be.
It does matter because he'll have to fight somewhere else.
Where's Lomo a draw, really? He doesn't sell more tickets than Crawford, I don't think.
In the interest of being fair to Terrence Crawford, I just want to make a comparison real quick. Let's look at the NFL, okay? And all of the racists, and I'm sorry, not the racists, all of the rapists is the word I was looking for. All of the rapists and drug addicts in the NFL who get starting positions and who are immensely popular. And nobody says a word about what they do or what they've done. Nobody, okay? Who's the guy, the quarterback for Pittsburgh? What's his name? Roethlisberger? And the underage girl that he was raping?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he did that twice.
Yeah.
Twice. Not once, but twice.
100%
that
agree.
doesn't seem to hurt his marketability, okay? Nobody says anything about that. Nobody says, let's get this guy off of the NFL, off of his football team because he's been, with these underage girls. Nobody says anything about that. Terrence Crawford gets into an argument with the guy at the auto repair shop, which the jail time was overturned, by the way, and now all of a sudden he's not marketable. There is a double standard here, people, okay? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is. I'm just pointing out the facts, okay?
I think you know what it is.
Ben Roethlisberger, okay?
Yep.
And a rapist. The man is a rapist. Doesn't hurt his marketability. But somehow I'm supposed to believe that Terrence Crawford, his marketability takes a ding because he got into an argument with the guy at the repair shop. Yeah, something isn't right about this, people, okay? I don't know what it is. Something ain't right.
Well, look at all the crazy shit Oscar did when he was with Top Rank too, like the stuff that he was accused of.
Was that where?
Yep.
Was that when he was in Fishnets, or that was when he was off on his own?
No, that was before he was off on his own.
That's when he was off on his own when he was running when Richard.
No, remember he got accused of raping that girl, and then he did something crazy with his car or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you remember when he was dating that one girl, Shanna Mokler or whatever, party, and they came and served him with a a paternity suit or something like that.
Yeah, man, and he still was marketed very well by Top Rank.
Yeah,
I think that's a minuscule incident. He got in an argument with a guy at a body shop. I mean, Christ, I get in arguments with people at Stop and Shop all the time when they ring me up wrong or something. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm a bad person.
Right, but nobody's promoting you.
I'll promote myself. I'm the chairman of Beeb Industries. What are you talking about? I'm going all over it here.
Well,
I'm going all over the North Shore area.
Doctor, as always, good call as always, man.
Look at Robbie just wrapped him up.
Fight Doctor, man. Thank you, brother.
Be a stranger, man. You seriously start calling in, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, start calling in. Be a regular, man.
Right.
I got you, gentlemen. And so I'll see you guys on a more regular basis.
Absolutely,
right,
man.
And the thing about it is, when you're right, man. We'll give you your props. We're not hard-headed here.
Absolutely. It's a good call, man. It's a very good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we know this problem exists in boxing,
Sure.
and it probably will always exist. But it's something I just hate talking about because we've got so much other racial crap going on in our own country. You know, you don't want to bring it into our show, but I guess it's a subject we'll never be able to avoid.
Right. See, Fight Doctor brings it up the right way, not like the previous caller. He didn't bring it up the right way.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't good. So there you go.
No,
is he
the
still in
caller
the chat?
before him, I could have done without a lot of that. That was really uncalled for. And I hate to say that about people that call into our show, but come on, there are just certain things if you're going to talk about them, you got to do it the right way.
There it is. All right, so we're just about finished here. The train wreck of the week was Paulie Malignaggi. He was trolling on Twitter after the fight. When you talk for 6 months straight about I am boxing, and he was just ripping Conor McGregor after the fight. And that's pretty much it. Miguel Cotto, of course, we talked about that. Wants the winner of Triple G and Canelo. That's, of course, not going to happen. And that's it, man. We have run long show tonight, 3 hours. I thought we were going to get out here at like 8:30, man. Long show tonight. So that's okay, man. Everybody got their say. Hopefully everybody got a good show. And hey, we love it, man. We'll be here as long as you want us here. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or you can call Ringside Robbie's Corner at 917-259-1810. Leave him a message. Catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. Find his YouTube channel at beatingtheoddswithbeeb.com. I'm at Ringside 73, and we'll see you next week.